Hey everybody, this is Christine Bertram, and I am coming to you live from the Hive here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And you can see there's some movement in the back corner over there. That Shelly, she's helping me. Yay, there she's waving. She's helping me put together some, it's definitely a team effort on one of the attendance gifts for the Escape and the Palooza, but we've already started working on them. That will be here before we know it. The Escape is September 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. I have about 30 to 40 spots left. I can't, at the top of my head, I don't remember where we're at, but we're close, right? And then the Palooza will be available in October, and we started to make these awesome attendance gifts for them so that we don't wait until the last minute. We started working ahead, which is super cool. So she's helping me tie ribbon around and put on some labels, and all the drinks have already been cut out, and it's just, I don't want to say too much because I want it to be a surprise, but I'm super excited for that. So, all right. Hello, Sherry Martin. Hello, Becky Rohrer. Hello, Julie Bontringer. And there's Susan Bellamy. Hi, Mary Lemke and Barbara Gabi. Hi, Doris Munson. Hi, Mary Ann and Connie. Hi, Paige. Hi, Sherry. There's Sue. Hello, Snowy Mom. Hi, Shelly Cooper. Hi, Pat. And we're here for the Floral Charm Stamp-a-Stack. It feels like I was just together with you last night. And it was good. I got done with class, and Tyler and I made it over to the grocery store to get a few things for the party that is on Sunday. So I got that crossed off the list. And then I continued to work on pictures I went back as far as 2013. I'm doing a collage of pictures on different boards and in albums, and all the stamping shenanigans from the last 12 years are hopefully going to be on display. So I only spent 3 hours looking for pictures for the party, you guys. It's just what I had. Like, the party's coming first at this point. It's rolling in faster than I really want it to, but it's going to be here and done before we know it, and it'll be good. And so I worked on that for a bit, and then Diane was over this morning, and I'm super excited to share with you. Hi, Laura Sullivan. Hi, Karen Wetstein. Hi, Jean Shute. Hi, Donna. I'm super excited to announce that we worked on the Let's Just Stamp for next month, and you guys know I can't not share things as soon as it's designed. It's in my nature to share. So as soon as something's created, it's like fair game to show it to you. And I was designing with Jay, and I left my Gathered Leaves embossing folder. Hey, does Shelly have the Gathered Leaves embossing folder?
Good possibility.
It's from the new online exclusives that we just could pre-order from last week. I left mine by Jay. So I have a card staged, but I couldn't finish it because I need to emboss. So if Shelly has it, maybe I'd get it done before I get the embossing folder back from Jay. So we'll have to think about that. It's called Gathered Together was the suite, and Gathered Leaves was the embossing folder. So hi, Marilyn Durbin. I wish all of you could be at my party too. There's a lot of people that are going to make it, but there's quite a few that have other things going on because it's the summer and it's the end of the summer, and things are rocking and rolling with people's vacations and just being out of town. So hi, Jolene. Hi, Georgine. Almost home. Oh, 3 hours left. Love vacation, but love being home so much more. Yeah, I definitely agree. It's always so much work to leave, and it's almost even more work to come back. So, that's how it is. But you got to take vacation because it's important to do that too. So we chose Autumn. Amber Autumn is a new stamp set that's part of the Autumn Toil Suite. So we chose Amber Autumn, and we threw in the Autumn Trees stamp set, it's a super suite that's going to be launching next month. And we pulled in the tree from that, and there's a lot of stamping in these cards. So normally with Let's Just Stamp, we try to feature 1 or 2 stamp sets, and we love focal images mixed with sentiments, and we like to keep it within a stamp set or 2. And so we married 2 stamp sets together, and so you're gonna have to think about, if you don't have these sets, they'll be, if you're a demonstrator, you could purchase them now, and if you're not a demonstrator, you could purchase them starting in September when the catalog and the new online exclusives launch. But you might also think, oh man, I like the cards, but I don't really want to buy the stamp set. So in that case, you guys have some figuring out to do. You have to figure out, what do you have in your Stampin' arsenal that you could use in lieu of the tree, the leaves, the pumpkins. There are different stamp sets from the past that you may own that you could always interchange them with. So that's where you guys get to use your creative ability to figure that out. So Laura said I have to find a different way home from your house so I don't go through Chicago. Yes, you could definitely do that, Laura. What you would want to do is actually head down 151 south towards Madison and drop down, I believe, 26, and you'll end up going through Rockford. So you're going to go a little bit out of your way, but you'll skirt the west side of Chicago. Okay, so that there's always another way to get around and not go through Chicago. Okay, so you just gotta have a little bit more time, a little bit more gas, and you'll get there and just skirt around Chicago. Even skirt around 294. So you can go. I think if you look on the map where Rockford is, and I think you could drop down by Rockford. All right, so I'm gonna share with you what Diane and I, hot off the press, you guys. We started at 9, and by 12:15, we had to wrap it up to move on to other things. And so this was the first card that we made. And again, I mentioned stamping. So this tree is a stamp that's part of the Autumn Trees stamp set. The rock here as well, and then the acorn and the leaves are from the Amber Autumn stamp set. So this is the one we use both. So if you don't have these two things, that's where it's like you'll get the vanilla piece and the vanilla piece, but then what would you use in lieu of it? And then we've got it stamped on the inside too. So again, this is, you guys, let's just stamp for next month. Hi, Chris Robinson, you made it. You had to quit a box. Oh, you got a box of goodies from me. Yay. All right, and this is another one where you'll get the circle cut and a sentiment strip, and you'll need something for in your circle. Right? Fallsy, pumpkin-y themed leaves, probably. And then we have a sentiment on the bottom, and you could put Happy Thanksgiving there or whatever. This is a great Thanksgiving card. And so that one is the second card we made. And whatever sentiments and other focal images you want. So those are the first two we made. Now this last one is one that's not finished because, again, I'm looking for the embossing folder that I left up at Jay's place. You didn't get it. Okay, that's okay. Diane's is coming on Monday, she said. So these are what I want to emboss this one with it. And then the embossing folder that I'm looking for looks just like this. And it's called Gathered Leaves. And so just to give you guys a perspective of what this looks like, these are going to go here. And then we've got this guy kind of situated already. So you'll get a vanilla piece and you'll have to stamp something there. And this is some of that new irregular weave ribbon. And so that'll go here like that. And then we've got a few die cuts. So we try not to do die cutting with Let's Just Stamp, but we went for the easy button today, and we always find it so much easier to design cards when you can use die cuts and embossing folders. And so we went for the easy button with this, and so it'll look something like this when it's all done, but then this piece will be embossed and match the designer paper in the background. So this is our Fallsy Let's Just Stamp. So for those of you who like what you're seeing, stage your email. We talked about this last night in class, but you might have missed class last night. It's always better to get one email with your complete set of things that you'd like for classes for next month in one email instead of sending 5 different emails. So this is where if you're like, oh man, I really like this, I saw it now, I don't want to forget that I want this class, either go to that email that you've already got staged and add it to it, or start a fresh email to me, either cbcenroll@gmail.com or honestly, Christine at cardsbycrispy.com, whichever one, and start the email and say, hey, I'd really like to get this class, list the Let's Just Stamp for September, and then hit save. Don't hit send, because on Monday we're planning to design ink, paper, scissors, and then we're going to follow that with the monthly class. Okay. I also have the catalog launch party that I'm designing for. And then we're also going to be working on the escape. So there's lots of things that you're going to be able to add to your email. And then when you've seen the showcase, right? After you've seen the showcase, which is, I've got it slated for the 28th. After you've seen the showcase, then once all your classes are listed in that email, that's when you want to hit the send button and send that to me. So and that's for those people who are paying outside of my website. So when you pay outside of my website, I can give you a reduced pricing because of shipping and consolidating. When you pay via my website, you add things to your cart, and then you can use your credit card to check out. And I'd say only like 10% of people use my website to pay for things because they always like to save money and not have a convenience fee and also save shipping. And by giving me a list of everything you want, I can calculate what shipping is and then send you one total, and then you send it. So that's how that works for those of you who are new to watching me. When is the info class telling us what's coming in September? I don't have the specific time, Pat, but it is slated for August 28th. That's what I have on my radar, okay? Yep, perfect, you saw that. and Laura had the suite in her cart. So it is a beautiful suite. It's called Autumn Toil. And for those that are demonstrators and want to pre-order it, you can already pre-order it. And for those who aren't demonstrators, you can just keep it on your radar that you can order that starting September 3rd. So very cool. Yeah, I love stamping and coloring. I know Gina said on her live that I don't always like to color, and I do like to color like one or two of something, but I would hate to color for that card. I would hate to color more than 10 of them because I'd be like, oh, I'm done, I'm over it. So my hand would be sore. So yeah, so all right, what else? Just a reminder, I do have class on Monday. It's Let's Just Stamp, and I didn't have these by me last night to show these to you. So reminder that this is coming up on Monday. And for those who are signed up for this class, there is a tutorial. It's in my inbox and it's being proofread. And I should have that out to you by tomorrow is my goal. So this is what we're going to be making on Monday. Now you might recognize these. This is the stamp set from Floral Charm that we're going to be using momentarily for this class. And so it pulled in the 2 flowers here and then different sentiments. And I believe I might have 1, 2, or none of this class left. I've got to get through some emails and I'll know if I have any left or not. And then on Thursday of next week for online class, we have Floral Charm. Floral Charm, you guys. Florals in bloom, okay? And so we've got a couple Purplicious cards and a Bright Cheerful card here. And then we got our tiger with the Secret Sea. So we've got lots of availability on this one. Okay, so that's what's coming up. Last night, I forgot to also share with you or show you the card that Stampin' Up! Made me for reaching $1 million in sales. And it came in this awesome, humongous envelope that has its own amazing belly band. And so about maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I had to fill out a survey from Stampin' Up! They knew I was getting close to my million, and they wanted to have this prepared and ready for me when I hit it. And I had to fill out what I liked. And so it was purple, I like wildflowers, I like bees, and I said throw in some greens. A mossy meadow is always good because Tyler loves the mossy meadow. And so this was the card, like it was basically an envelope. They made this out of white paper, and then it had this awesome belly band that goes around it. And the card, and I also said, and you guys might know this if you know me a little bit, I said I am not a simple stamper in the thing. I love layers, I love embellishments, I love ribbon on all cards. I love details, I like lots of things, and I like them to be little pieces of works of art, right? So I put that on there. I'm like, oh, I hope they don't like give me something so simple that I'm like, right? But beggars aren't choosers, right? Well, they knocked it out of the ballpark, you guys. They went exquisitely over the top with this for me, for my card. And I don't know, I haven't seen that they've shared this yet, but I think I can share it because I already got it, and they sent me some flowers too. And literally, I think 2 days after I hit it, this was already here at my house, and I was camping at the time. So Diane and the girls, I think, got to enjoy the flowers while they were here helping. So this is the card I got. So it definitely pulled in the mossy meadow, and it pulled in the flowers, and it's got the bees on it. And so they used florals in bloom, or pretty florals, I believe is what that is. They use some of these gold and white labels that are here. And Shelly Cooper, I can't make cards with ribbon because of, you can't make cards, I think you mean without ribbon because of me. Yeah, it's been Gina and my goal since maybe 2017 when we started making cards and working together. We always said we should always try to incorporate ribbon on every single card. And so yes, that is our lifelong goal. All right, so when we open this up, you guys, it uses those banner dies. And so it says congrats, and then it has C. And then if you keep opening, it has You're Lovely, and then a B for Christine Bertram. And then there's on the end, it says, so it says, congrats, you're lovely. This flips up. You make me smile. It's embossed with gold. And then on the end here, it says, you can do amazing things. And when this flips up, there's a card in here, and Sarah wrote on this for me. It says, Christine, you did it. Congrats on reaching your 1 million milestone. The community you're building is amazing, and so are you. We can't wait to celebrate with you. Hugs, Sarah and Shelly. So yay! Oh my goodness. So, and that too is nicely fit in there as a little pocket, and there's designs there. Now, you'd think that this is the front is amazing enough. They also the designer of this also did the back. Look at that. It says, "You've come so far and accomplished so much." And so the back is decorated too. Isn't that cool? Holy Moses and a half, right? So, and then on the back of the box that I had here, it has they must have a special stamp here that says 1 million. And so that was included on the back. So not a lot of people, I guess only 91 people, I was the 91st person, and 91 people can say that they've accomplished this amazing thing. So it's not a huge percentage. But through lots and 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 lots of hard work, you can strive to do amazing things. So it's not for the faint of heart, but yeah. So I thought I'd share that with you, and I definitely can say lots of sleepless nights, like lots of lack of sleep attributed to all this. So, but it's good. I wouldn't do it, you guys, if I didn't love it, and I think you can tell that I love it. And so I never think about how little sleep I get. I think about how much I enjoy it, actually. So, yeah. So we've gone over what's coming up. We do have a class that is probably on steroids today. It's going to come to pump you up is what's going to happen today. It's going to be a lot. I know that Diane said it was a doozy. Hi, France Eldridge. Hi, Sherry Stewart. Yeah, it's gorgeous, you guys. I cannot wait to put that out on display on Sunday. This class is pretty on steroids. There's 6 fun folds, and I feel a little bit bad because Diane had, it was just a lot to do this in person, cutting the paper, making the cards, teaching it. It just was a lot. And I think they started at 4 o'clock last Wednesday and they finished at 10:30, some of them. So a little bit longer than normal for a class. And so I'm already trying to, I made sure I went to the bathroom right before I started, like 1:02. I ran real quick one more time, and so I should be set for a couple hours or a few hours. But I do want to say that this is, hi Yvette Lopez, sneaking a watch, yay. Thanks, Marilyn Durbin. So this new designer series paper that we're using here, this new paper is from the launch that happened in July. So a few new designer papers launched in July. And what we're doing is we're incorporating those 4 papers into the next DSP sampler that will be launching with the holiday mini catalog and the OE online exclusives in September. So one of these is going to be available with Floral Charm. We just don't have it prepared or staged yet. But for those people that love getting these from me, you should make sure that that email that you draft to me, that you tell me that you want this in your September shipment, because we are going to start preparing the holiday mini catalog DSP sampler in the next week or 2 so that it's going to be ready to ship. It for those of you who get the Escape with me, you can order it at the time that you get your Escape, because I'll plan to mail it in your Escape box. For those who aren't planning to do the Creative Escape with me and you want this and you're getting other September classes, then I can ship it with your September classes. And if you're not getting anything else from me except for this, then just send me an email with just that and say, hey, don't forget, I want to get a DSP sampler. Make sure I'm on your list. So we're making less. I think we made 90 for the spring mini catalog, and I have 15 left of them. And I don't like sitting with 15 left this far out with it. So I overestimated by a little bit. So we're cutting back. We're going to drop it down to 72. So I think that should be okay. I guess we really haven't started prepping anything. So if I start to see that, oh man, everybody's been emailing me and I need to make sure that they get it, like, we can always adjust at this moment. But definitely this is on the radar, so that if you want to get the holiday mini catalog DSP sampler, it'll come in a cellophane package like this with the little swatches and everything ready for you to assemble your own. I don't assemble them for you. Okay, but that is coming. All right, and the other thing I want to do before we start cutting paper. So this class, what I'm just trying to think. I'm wondering if we cut the paper for a card, put it together, cut the paper for a card, put it together, or cut all the paper and then put all the cards together. I'm still wrapping that around in my head. And while I wrap that around in my head and toy that around, play with that, I'm going to do roll call. So thank you to everybody who signed up to get this class with me. This was a product-based class and it cost money. It was not offered free with a purchase of Stampin' Up! Product through me. So everybody bought this. There are 2 options for this class. If you're on my team, the Be Happy Stampers, you get the option of paying full price for it, and I supply all the materials, or if you want to supply your own designer series paper, ribbon embellishments, and envelopes, then you can get the team pricing option. And then what happens is for the team, you get a pack that looks like this with no envelopes, but it still have the seed packets and all the card stock and everything in here that's ready to basically stamp and assemble. All right, so those are the two options, and you could do porch pickup or you could get it mailed to you. And Christine, can you check if I got the annual catalog sampler? If not, I will take that and the holiday. So what you could do, Yvette, is then just pop me a note. Just pop me a note in an email if you don't mind emailing. Because you guys, when it comes to class stuff, I really try to operate out of my email because usually it involves looking up something on a spreadsheet, which is in my computer, or it involves looking at the Google Drive, which is easier to do from my computer. So if you text me or if you instant message me about class stuff, I usually let it sit until I'm sitting at the computer, and then I have to remember to look at my phone while I'm working at the computer. And then I get distracted very easily, and then I end up taking longer to do lots of things because I'm doing 5 things instead of the one thing I was trying to do. So long story short, if you want to send me an email, Yvette, that would be amazing. And when I get to my email in the next few days, like it'll probably be after the party, I'll get back to you, but I'll double check and then I'll make sure that you're signed up. So hi, Jean Terwilliger. Hi, Mary Novak. And there's Connie. I sure hope you have some left. Oh, Connie Moore. Yes, I have you on my list, Connie. So I added Suzanne Neal to this class and Connie. And so, hi, Julie Black. Thank you so much for the congratulations. So for this one, I just want to say thank you to everybody who signed up to get the class for me. I truly appreciate it. We made 80 for this class, and Diane used 5 of them in person, so I had 75 left for me, and we have 68 people signed up. So I'm going to say thank you to everybody. If you don't hear your name and you think that you should be signed up for this class, I need to know right away. If you've sent me an email, I may have missed it. Or if you paid for it via my website, you guys, I'll be honest, with going on vacation last week and then coming straight into mailing 130 packages and then starting design mode, I haven't been diligent about being in my email. So I very well could have missed it. I am the type that when I get in my emails, I'll sit on them and work on them from, let's say, 9 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning, and I'll spend 9 hours working on them. And I need to do them in one chunk. It's hard to just find a half hour here and a half hour there because there aren't half hours. There's just chunks of time is when I can find them at night when you guys are all sleeping. So I have at the moment spots open for 7, I think. 2, 4, 6, 7. Now those are for people who have already registered and I may have missed them. And if I find out that, like, let's say next week, I still have 1 or 2 or 3 of these left, I will put that in the past classes section of my website in the resources area. So if you go to cardsbycrispy.com, click on resources, and then scroll down to past classes. Now, if you'd like to get one, it does not hurt to email me and say, hey, I'd like to get this if it's available. And if it's available, then at least you got your email in already. And if you don't, and you want to wait to see if there's some available next week, that works too. But all right, so thank you to everybody who signed up for this class. I appreciate your business and your support of my craziness. So this was a fun class to design, I'll have to say that. So first on our list is Sandy Coy Emery, and then Susie Fenlater, Mary Novak, Julie Damaris, Karen Wetstein, Trisha Fagley, Bridget Rowe, Doris Munson, Perry Overby, Debbie Gast, Michelle Foran, Amanda Waldhart, Paige Grabow, or Grobo, Paige, I probably butchered your name, but I probably said it one time correctly out of all those tries. Kimberly Snow, Becky Gandolfo, Kathy Dolly Nagari, Anne D'Acquisto, Kathy Showalter, Katie Lambert, Jean Terwilliger, Pam Leahy, Pat Shee Bischoff, Angelique McClendon, Latokia Trigg, Kelly Gibson, Leslie McMinn, Sherry Stewart, Donna Grushke, Kat Langford, Elaine Peranio, Shelley Cooper, Brenda Cottrell, Hope Toy, Janice Ormiston, Sarah Merchant, Mindy Hall, Laura Sullivan, Susan Bellamy, Karen Woods, Joanne Naples, Jeannie Parker, Sherry Everett, Cheryl Thomas, Linda Rios, Lynn Marcotti, or Marcotte, I guess, one or the other, or maybe something else, Phyllis Oderman, Patsy Roberts, Mary Carls, Chris Robinson, Julie Bontranger, Rita Steffi, Patty Wright, Lisa Hedges, Feline Mays, Maria Gilbertson, Linda Scott, Debbie Carcella. So Debbie, this is the first time I think I said your name out loud, which is super awesome. I appreciate you getting classes from me. Sandy Coy Emery. Again, she got a couple of these. Karuna, Mary Lemke, Gwen Petrashek, Stacy Tan, Debbie Stone, Suzanne Neal, and Connie Moore. You were the last one that I saw a note from last night. So I did add your name to the list, but I didn't message you back letting you know that. But now you know. So for all of you girls that are signed up for class, I did send an email, except for to Connie. I think last night after I finished with class or sometime, I sent an email. I talked to Jolene last night and we made a deal. She's got the PDF tutorial is pretty much done, but there's 2 cards that she wants to create some extra special diagrams for. And instead of creating those diagrams on the fly based off of our notes on recipe cards, she thought it would be better to watch the video, and so she could see how to do it. And then she will have the diagrams added to the PDF. And as soon as she has them done tonight, she'll send them to me. So we did not send the PDF yet. So I know I would say not anybody, but maybe Mary Carl's is the only one that, because Mary Carl's did porch pickup for this. Maybe 1 or 2 other people have their kits, but nobody else really has their kits. So we didn't think that you guys would be overly caring about that. I know some people generally they like to stamp ahead or work ahead, but in this case, since we mailed out all the packages on Wednesday, not many people have their kits. So we looked at it as we'd rather send the PDF tutorial 1 time and have it correct than send it 2 times and the first time not be correct, right? So that's why we kind of made that executive decision, and we thought you guys would be okay with it. So just know that it's coming. And if I read your name off up through Connie Moore, you will be getting the PDF tutorial. If I see anybody else would like to, in my email as I get people signed up, I'll send the tutorial out to you guys individually. So, okay, that was a lot of names, right? For a Stamp-a-Stack. So you guys were loving the floral charm. So let me flip the camera down. And we're going to pull out the paper. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to hit the 2 hardest cards first, because I know that's what Jolene is looking for. And then once I have these 2 papers cut, then I think I might make these 2 cards. Then she'll be able to finish working on the tutorial after she's done with work, and then she'll be good to go. So I think I'm going to do 2 cards at a time. I'm going to cut the paper for 2, make 2, cut 2, make 2, cut 2, make 2. I think that seems what is in my brain power, my lady brain today, of how we can make this work smoothly and efficiently. So I think I want to start with these 2 Wowza cards, okay? So these are your pocket cards. And there are, and I didn't have this in here last night, but I'm going to steal this right now. All right, so this is the seed packet. So it was a mixture of seed packets that, let me grab it so you guys can see. Hang on. I did buy these off the Amazonian. So Jolene, I should probably send you the link on Amazon so that you can include it in the tutorial. I bought a wildflower mixture pack. So everybody got 2, and we did our best to make sure you didn't get 2 of the same ones. So again, it's all just a mixture. This is what I picked because I feel like this matched the coloring of the card the best. And so they got 2 seed packets in their kit from me. All right, so when you have the kit like this, you'll have your golden ticket on the top, which has the name of the class and the date. And then underneath it, you'll have the seed packet. So just be careful. I wouldn't pull this stuff out quite yet, but how this works, I am here and we'll make some amazing diagrams for all of you. Yay! And Jean said she didn't get an email yet. I know that I owe you money for, yes, Jean. I have a pile here yet for you. I need to regroup on your whole order for August. And so just know that, it's just a side note, Jean. I do need to talk to you, but just so you can see, I do have your pile here, right? You got some shares, you got a 2-tone card structure, I've got your prizes, and I just got to go through your classes yet because I know you placed a few orders, especially during free shipping, and I got to make heads and tails of what you're looking for. Okay, so Jean, you're good. I'm good. When just wait to hear from me, and I'll make sure that I get you an amount. So Barbara Gobby said she was stamping. Oh, Barbara Gobby wanted the Stamp-a-Stack too. Okay, so Barbara, perfect. So I definitely saw that last night for class, but we'll get you on here. So the one thing, so here, Barbara, then you're good to go. I've got you on the list. I just need to know if you wanted team pricing or not for that one, but we can figure that out. So how this works is we've got a little pocket here where your seed packet goes in, and then that flips down in here. So when you pull this out, you go, oh, there's a pretty seed packet. Oh man, there's one in here. Ha ha ha. I thought that okay, so I could have sworn I had one in there. All right, so it was actually in front of here, and that's why when I pulled this up, it didn't come out. So that it makes sense to me now. Okay, so I could have sworn I had one in there. So you have a seed packet. Now, when we were designing this, you guys, we didn't think about, well, where are you going to put your love note on here? And so I realized that after the fact, and what happens is we included a white piece of paper that will go back here for everybody. So when the time comes, we'll talk about that, but it's not on the picture in the tutorial. Perfect. Oh, hi, Donna Grushki. So team pricing, also 6x6, yeah, for the two-tone. Oh, and speaking of the two-tone cardstock shares, you guys, we did 132 sets of them, and I still have, I think 4 left, okay? Maybe 3 left. So if anybody's still interested in the two-tone cardstock share at the free shipping pricing amount, right now it's on my calendar at the regular price, but I still have 3 left at the free shipping price. And I also have 8 left of the cardstock shares at the free shipping price. And I have a few sweet shares left. I have 6 of 6 different ones left, okay? So I have a little bit of that stuff left. And I'm just thinking now, I did not grab with you in mind for a stamp set here. So maybe we'll figure something else out. Okay, so I think we talked a little bit about what we got going on here. So we're gonna start by cutting the designer paper for this card and this card. And then we'll pause to make the cards, and then we'll work on the other 2. And what we'll do is you guys keep the plastic around this until we're ready to start pulling things out of here. I believe these are cards 5 and 6, which are at the back end of our packet here, but we'll get to that in a moment. All right, so we're gonna do this one first. This one makes, okay, so you guys, this is gonna be a doozy. Just stay tuned. You need to concentrate on your upcoming weekend instead of worrying about orders. I definitely agree with that, Jean. I definitely agree with that. Oh man. So we're going to pull out the designer paper that we need for this one. And this is used twice, right? And then we have it on the envelope. So we have to be strategic about how we do this, because you need for 2 cards, right? Go get it. Go get the wildflower embossing folder, or okay, I'll get this cut, and then I'll see, there might be a different stamp that will work in there for me though. So I'm gonna look through my stamp pile that I have right next to me, and then I'll figure out if I have something that'll work or not. So we have here 2 sheets, right? So in that DSP pack, you get 6 sheets of 2 of each, is 12 sheets, and that's why we ended up with 6 cards. So we used 1 pattern for each card pretty much. But we have to be careful because this actually uses, okay, so you can see here what we did is we used designer series paper to make the pocket, which is this piece. So this alone, that size is 9 1/4 by 6, right? So 9 1/4 by 6. So we're gonna have 6 inches here, 6 inches here, and 9 1/4 here. That will give us for 2 cards. So we're gonna cut for 2 right off the bat here. I don't know if I'm gonna make both of them right off the bat with you. I'm definitely making 1 of each card with you. And I can reorder the tutorial edition. I think that these are perfect because these are cards 5 and 6. They're gonna, we're gonna work from the bottom up is what I'm thinking in my head. So this is 9 1/4 by 6, right? So I'm gonna take 1 sheet out of the way for the moment. And I'm gonna cut at 9 1/4 first, or ask the elves in the shop. So I would ask Shelly, but I don't know if Shelly wants to run upstairs for me. Not really, probably, right? No, you guys know, right? I don't think so. It'd be too hard, right? Yeah, that's gonna be too hard. It will take her a while, you guys, that's okay. So 9 1/4 is what we got here. And because we want 6, I'm gonna cut the 9 1/4 first. So 9 1/4 here, and right? So 9 1/4, oh, I'm gonna go a little bit harder here. So we're gonna leave this off because this actually is the piece that goes here. Ooh, Jolene, that is exactly what makes sense to me. So Jolene, I think I told you last night that this was actually 3 inches, and it's not 3 inches. So update for your tutorial, or our tutorial, 2 3/4 is what that is, okay? So, and maybe I did tell that to you last night, but maybe I didn't. But it's supposed to be 2 3/4, all right? Not 3 3/4, or not 3 either, okay? That's what makes, okay. So we purposely used this size here to use up this side strip here, is what happened, right? So what we have is 9 1/4, and we got to cut this at 6. But because we have to do some score lines, I like to score this at the same time. So if you cut this, then you're scoring 2 things. But if you don't cut it, you can score 1 thing. And what I mean by that, so if you grab the scoreboard and put this here, and then you grab the stylus. Oh man, where do I have my stylus? Oh, I don't know where I have my stylus. So we're gonna grab this and this. I took it up by J. So we're gonna just use the pokey tool here. All right, so now that we have that cut at 9 1/4, we're gonna score at 2 1/2 and 6 3/4. So 2 1/2 and 6 3/4. Right, so you can see here what I'm doing. I'm scoring both of them at the same time, and then that's perfect. Otherwise, if you would have cut it, then you got to touch them both again. Okay, so we're just going to set this off to the side for the moment, because now that we have the 9 1/4 and scored at 2 1/2 and 6 3/4, now we're going to cut it at 6 inches. Right, so you can flip your paper this way and cut it at 6 inches. Right, perfect. All right, so that's the first step, but we're not done yet. We still have one more score to do. So now what we're gonna do is pull the scoreboard back out. And on the 6 inch side, you wanna score it at 1/2 of an inch. So with your flowers facing up, rotate it so that the flowers, you know, you rotated it clockwise, 180, I don't know, 90 degrees, like this, right? Yep, at 1/2 inch, okay? Now, I will be honest with you, I hate scoring at 1/2 inch in this crevice over here, at this edge over here. It's like a pain in the butt. I really get like crowded, weirdness. It's really weird. So I know I need 1/2 inch. So not to confuse you, I know that 1/2 inch, if I flip it this way, then it's 5 1/2. It's 1/2 inch less 6. So I can finagle my board better being in the middle of it than trying to cram myself into the corner over here and be oxy and weird. So basically what you want to do is score 1/2 inch from the bottom. So again, this is the bottom, right? You could flip it so it's 1/2 inch here, or you could do 5 1/2 inches on, either way, it's 1/2 inch from the bottom is what you want to do. When you have that 1/2 inch scored, that still gives you a card that's going to be 5 1/2 inches tall, right? So that's exactly what we're looking for. All right, so those are your 2 wraparounds for making the outer envelope for the card. Then what we have here, you guys had this strip of paper that was from the end. That gets used here. And it is 2 3/4 wide, which is perfect. It's already cut and set to that. But what we're going to do is cut it at 5 inches and cut another one at 5 inches. So we're going to go, do I want to cut off the purple or cut off the blackberry? Purple or the berry? I'm going to go like that and leave this then. So I got purple on the top and the bottom. So these are the 2 pieces. Again, you guys, we're making a total of 12 cards, 6 times 2. So this is what you have here, right? So you've got that sheet is pretty much all consumed, and this is all that's left. But now, wait, there's more. You have a piece here and a piece for your envelope. So this guy right here is, I'm going to double check Jolene now that we have the, it's 3 3/4, I think by 5 and I've got 5 1/8, Jolene. So I think you might want to update that too. So it's 5 1/8, because I don't think we wrote that on here. DSP is 5 1/8 by 3 3/4. Okay, so we're going to cut 2 pieces for here, and then we're going to cut 2 envelope flaps. right? And so what I just said was 3 3/4 by 5 1/8. So I know that if I do 3 3/4 on this side, I'll get my one mat and my other mat. So we'll cut at 3 3/4 first, right? And then 5 1/8. Okay, so that's going to be our piece that goes right in here. And then we need a second one. So 5 1/8. Okay, so that left this. So these two pieces need to go onto this pile. And then what's left is our envelope flap. All right? So now that you have the flowers like this, right? So this is scrap pie. Let's go to the scrap yard. These envelope flaps, if you want them to be true, they're usually, I would cut it at 6 inches by 2 1/4. And it could be like 5 1/2 too, but because your envelope is 6 inches actually, not 5 1/2. So 6 inches by 2 1/4. But you want your flowers to be going the right way, right? You don't want them to be going like that way because it would look like it would look wrong. So we want 2 1/4 and 2 1/4. So I'm gonna do 4 1/2 here. So this is going to the scrap yard with these two pieces. And then we're gonna flip it and do 6 inches. This goes to the scrap yard. And now 2 1/4. And these will be what we use for our envelope flaps, right? That'll be the perfect size for them, right? And then you're not cutting any of the envelope off. Hi, Gwen Goda. Had to go grocery shopping. That's important stuff. Hi, Tanya. Yeah, the floral DSP is so pretty. Okay, so that would be all the designer series paper to cut for this card, right? So now what I'm going to do is just set this off to the side and we'll cut, right? So that's everything we need here. So out of both of those sheets of paper, you guys, this is what was left, right? Enough for you to make a couple more pretty cards. All right, so then the next card, you're going to want to grab these two pieces of paper. So what we're going to do is cut for the next card as well, and then we'll pause to make them. I wanted to get these two hard ones done right off the bat because these are the ones that Jolene wanted to make sure she had correct on the tutorial for us. All right, so this is a doozy. It's a double pocket card. Now, we did case, let me see here. Where would I have put those cards? We case, I think I've showed them off already. Oh, right here they are. All right, so we cased a couple cards. Oh, it's very nice, I have them right here. I know you guys like to see where inspiration comes from. So this one was from Phyllis Oderman. Phyllis, if you're watching, you sent me this card, I don't know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I've been hanging on to it. And it has catnip in here, and the cats absolutely adored this and love this, and they want this card so bad. But I saved this, and now we cased it for this card right here. And then Sandy Coy Emery sent me this card, and this is where we got the inspiration for the double pocket card, right? We used her template to make this next card. All right, and I'll show you, I have these other ones to share with you how we got inspiration for the other ones. Okay, so we have a double pocket card. Now, it uses the same paper, front and back. And what happens, oh man, where do I have it? Oh, right here, yay. So Diane and I made a little template up. So this is what Jolene's gonna include in the PDF tutorial, something that looks like this, because we'll have a template in the tutorial for you guys for like that. So for this one, we have two templates as well. This is 2 pieces of designer paper that we use to put the card together. So this one is going to have the peacock side that's up first. So this will go like this. And then this guy is going to wrap around here like this. And then it goes like that. And then there's a little, we created little tabs, right? So that's what Jolene's going to include in the tutorial. So that's why she's watching, to know what to do. All right, so knowing that we have these 2 templates, right? This is important stuff. This one is going to be the peacock side. So we're going to flip it this way, right? So the peacock side. And this one is going to be using this guy right here, right? So I have the measurements in here too that we're going to work off of. So ultimately, we're going to cut 2 pieces. Now this is 6 inches, this is 6 inches, and then we have here a measurement. I gotta just look up what it was. And then this guy, we have 5, I don't even want to say them out loud because I don't have them memorized. I know that it's this and that we have to cut 2 of them, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with, I think, this one first. Now, when we look at the card here, this is the piece that's back here, like this, right? So it's this one here, and then this side flips up, right? Okay, so the width of this is 4 3/4, and the height is 11 inches, right? So what I'm gonna do is, I think what I'll do is I'm gonna cut this at 4 3/4 first. So 4 3/4. We're gonna cut 2 of them. 4 3/4. I'm gonna put this in the scrap yard for right now. Okay, and then what happens is we need it to be at 11 inches. And now the designer paper is currently 12. So instead of pulling my arm out, I know I just need to cut an inch off. So I'm gonna flip it this way and cut my inch off. Okay, scrap yard, and then 1 inch here, scrap yard, right? So when you guys get the tutorial from us, you'll have this diagram in the tutorial, and it's gonna have like 4 3/4 here, and I'll have the 11 here, right? So from this now, what we need to do is a couple things need to get scored. Ooh, I'm starting to see that my blade is leaving little fuzzies. When you start to see little fuzzies on your paper, that's meaning it's time for a new blade. So let's see if I have, where I have them. I got them around. They're in a drawer somewhere. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna score this right now so that we have that ready. All right, so let's grab the scoreboard back. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna score it a 1/2 inch, right? So what you need to know about this though is this piece right here, these 2 that you see are the same paper, right? So if you put your leaves going the correct way, then when you fold this up and what you see here, you're gonna see flowers upside down, because I do feel that this paper goes like this. I think I would rather have my flowers be the correct way, and then when this is this, like this, because you can hardly even tell that the peacock has the leaves going upside down, right? So just be aware of that. Then the other thing to know is, we could look at this one. So these are for the 2 different cards, right? So I'm gonna leave it so my flowers are up, and then that's gonna go this way. So knowing that, I know that I need to score a 1/2 inch. With your flowers going up, I need to score a 1/2 inch on the left side, right? But because I hate working in the crack I have on, I'm gonna flip it this way, and I'm gonna go a 1/2 inch from the edge, which is 4 1/4, right? Right, so that gives me my 1/2 inch here, and I'm gonna do that on this one right off the bat too. So 4 1/4, because the card is really 4 1/4 wide. All right, so I've got my 1/2 inch on there, and now what happens is we need to score this at 5 1/2. We're gonna flip it this way, and on the 11 inch side, you're gonna score it at 5 1/2 and 5 1/2. Okay, so those 2 pieces are good. So now with the flowers side up, that's how we wanted to make sure we got our scoring correct. So that would be the 2 pieces we need for the inner one. All right, so now let's switch gears and go back to the other one. And that other one is this that wraps around this way. So you actually see the back side of this and then the front side here. Right, so when we pull the sheet that's here, we need 2 of these, and it's 6 inches and it's by 8 1/2. And so we want our flowers to be facing up like they are. And knowing that I need 6 inches, I'm gonna cut my 8 1/2 first, right? And I know that if I do math can be hard, but if I do 8 1/2 minus, 12 minus 8.5, it leaves me with 3.5. I could cut this at 3.5 versus pulling out my whole arm, right? So I'm gonna cut this at 3.5, which leaves me with 8.5, right? So this is onto the pile for right now. We're gonna need this, but not right now. So this is what I have here. And because I know I need a score line here at 4.25, I'm gonna score that right now while I have two pieces. While I have one piece. Okay, so that score is at 4.25, which is right in the middle. So 4.25, right? And then we're gonna cut it at 6, right? So that's in half. Cut it at 6, right? And then we need another score. We need a score line right here at 1/2 inch from the bottom. Let's pull this guy back out. Okay. So I know that this is my bottom, and I could put it so the bottom's in the crack, or I can flip it around and score it at 5.5. It's basically 1/2 inch from the bottom. So same thing, I'm gonna find my bottom and go at 5.5 here. All right. So those are the two pieces for the wraparound. But we're not done. Wait, there's more. So those go with this. There's a piece here, and then there's a triangle here, right? So when we go back to what we have for our scraps, this piece is too skinny for that. So we're gonna have to use this piece here, right? And so when we look at this, we have a 2 3/4 by 4. So I'm gonna cut it at 4. I really wanna do this. I'm gonna cut it at 8. Okay, so it's 8, because I know I need 4 and 4 is 8. So 4 and 4 is 8, and then I'll do 2 3/4. So this is for the scrap yard, and then at 4, right? So this is the piece that goes right there for us. So you have 2 of those. And then what's left is a triangle. This was just because we had a scrap and we didn't want to throw it away. And this triangle scrap is going to come when we cut this corner off right there. Right, so I'm gonna wait because these are gonna go into your scrap yard for now. Right, you don't need them for the card. The triangle that we're gonna get here again comes off the corner there. So that will go here. What's left though is we have an envelope flap. So strategically, amazingly here, we have this piece of paper that's left. And so what you could do is cut that at 6, right? And that will be what you can use for your envelope flap. All right, so now what you can see is this is all you have left out of those 2 pieces of paper. You guys, this class is going to show you how you can use up almost an entire pack of designer paper on 12 cards. All right, so this goes to the scrap yard. And what are we gonna do first, you guys? All right, I feel like this one's on the top. We might as well knock it out. Now, nope, I lied. We're gonna go to this one because this is actually the last card. So when you have your packet here, guys, this packet right here, you do not wanna have it vertical or up and down while you pull everything because everything's gonna fall out. You wanna keep this horizontal, and I'll be honest with you, I would flip it so this blackberry, so yes. So this is a different card, Jolene. Card, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so the ordering of the tutorial is not how we kitted these up. I'm guessing that they're not. So I'm gonna pull this out of here, you guys, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this together. You have your seed packets. Underneath your seed packet, there's supposed to be a little Velcro dot, and I might find, oh, here it is. So around your seed packet, you're gonna find 2 Velcro dots. okay? Don't lose them. Set them somewhere. They're for one of the cards. It's actually the last card. All right, so what happens here is this one, this top here, these top pieces, this and this. Okay, so when you pull the kit apart, the very top one here, once you hit this Cajun Craze, that's the next card, right? So this first card is the one we're actually going to start with. So we are in the right order then, Jolene. I don't know. so this one is what we're going to do first. And then this guy right here, this stuff for the next peacock, that's going to be the next card we're going to make. So I'm just going to leave it sit here for right now, right? I'm going to grab my seed packet lock that I took out of here. All right, so we just grabbed everything up until the flowers, and you even have the seed packets here, right? So let's set this off to the side. Again, keep it horizontal. Don't let anything fall out or you're gonna not know exactly where it goes without some investigating. All right, so back on track. So that was just perfect. It was the top one. So we're gonna set these off to the side. We don't need them at the moment. And we're going to look at this. And so for those of you on the team, you would supply your own envelopes. And for those of you who got the kit from me, you'll have envelopes. And I know that this class is going to be all it's going to be. And you guys have seen me, I think, glue envelope flaps on. I'm not going to do it right now. But these are what you use to glue on the top of your envelopes, and you just have to trim them. So for now, I'm going to just sit with them and let that be. And then we're going to come back over here and lay out our pieces. Now, I think for purposes of being strategic with our time, I'm only going to make one of each of these cards because I think it'll be easier for us. So I'm going to grab out one of those, and they gave me this because it has a little indent on it right there, but that's okay because once we put our circle on, we're not going to see that indent, right? And then you need one of these and one of these. All right, now I said earlier we did not put a white on our sample card for in the pictures, but there's a white piece here for in your kit that you're going to use. All right, so you have this piece here that's already scored. So what you're going to do is just flip that up, and this is your pocket piece, right? So you have a piece of designer series paper that fits on there, and then what I'm going to do is just set my other one over there, right? So we can glue this on, right? Why not? Get her on here. Got one easy thing out of the way. So definitely great color combinations here. All right, so that's the inside piece. The white will eventually go on there as well. Now for the outside here, we're going to put one of these away for now, over here. Okay, so we're going to work with this guy. So what happens with this, here's our template. We need to cut off the bottom side here. So that what happened was we scored this already. So there's 3 sections here, and then there's 3 sections on the bottom. What we want to do is cut off the left section and the right section, right? So I'm going to, so I can see what I'm doing, I'm going to fold on the score lines so that I can see that down here. Hi, Penny Powell. 106 today. Holy shnikes. All right, so then we'll go like this one. Bring that up. All right. So what's going to happen is this is going to overlap in the back, and we want to cut off this section and this section. Now, you can use your scissors to do it, or you could use the trimmer. You're not really going to see it, so I'm just going to use my scissors. And we're going to just go on. So I'm holding it. I'm going to cut on the left side of the score line. I'll go all the way up to where the score line is there. And then I'm going to like make a mitered edge here. So we're going to cut it at a little bit in, so it curves it, right? I'm going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to miter it, right? And then what I'm going to do is on the left side of the score line here. Okay. So basically we did is we cut off, hi Joy Moody, we cut off the left and the right skinny little sections here. And what happens then, that's going to fold up. And so one side will go in, the other side's going to go in, and this goes up and over. Now what happens is if you didn't cut enough off, it's going to buckle and it's going to kind of pop it up. right? This needs to be able to roll up and over. And if you saw that, what happened is like kind of caught down here, right? So I'm gonna actually trim off just a little bit more. It's okay because as long as you don't cut it more than that off, you should be fine. So we're gonna just do a little bit more here, right up to that score line. Okay, I'm gonna go right up just a hair. Get some of that off of there. All right, so now let's practice again. This is gonna go in, that's gonna go in, and now that went up, and it didn't buckle at all, and it didn't catch down here. There was enough cut off where it just kind of rolled up and over. So the only problem is I did it backwards. So did you guys notice I did it backwards? But that's okay. All you gotta do is refold it. And so we're gonna go this way and this way, and now we're gonna go up this way, right? It's okay. Right? And so the reason you're kind of cutting these at an angle is so that they aren't hanging off the edge over here. All right, so we do want the blackberry to be exposed, right? All right, so now adhering this together. Which side would you put there? I guess it's a horse apiece. Like pick whichever one you want. But what you'll do, what I would do, you could use liquid glue if you want, but I have a tendency to use tear and tape when I'm doing 3D type projects or cards like this. So we're gonna run the tear and tape, right, like that. And don't worry if your tear and tape goes over by a hair, all you have to do is roll it right back. And you kind of want it to go over so that it provides adhesive all the way to the edge. Then this one along the bottom, put that tear and tape right like that. Okay, and then I like to keep things flat while I put them together, so we're gonna set that down. And you can see, I don't know if you can see, but the score line is there, and it's up by that much, right? You can see there, the designer series paper is what you see through there, right? So then this is gonna go flat, and this is gonna go up, right? Perfect. So what we have then is this is that Glass and Garden embossing folder. It's the garden one is what I'm calling that. And we have this piece of designer paper that's gonna go on the side here. And we need to, I think we can go ahead and adhere this down to the designer paper. Now we have to get ribbon behind here, and we have to cut a circle out. So we've got a couple things that are happening kind of simultaneously. But now the ribbon, and we have to make sure, so the ribbon on this side here going up and down was an afterthought. We tucked it in after we had already cut our circle. So we want to make sure that we keep our ribbon more to the right here. And so I have tear and tape right here. So we're going to do our tear and tape sandwich. So I'm going to take 2 weighting in the wings, and we want that over here. So you guys got, for those that got the whole thing from me, you got the Misty Moonlight and the white ribbon. They come in a combo pack, and there's 2 yards of each one. So Diane said that everybody had plenty of ribbon with that. So when I do this, I'm gonna keep it away from the seam, so I'm barely covering up any of the designer paper, just a hair of it. And then that flips over. And then that. Perfect. We're going to adhere that down onto the card front now. What happens is we have to make sure, I don't want to put too much glue right there because that's going to get punched off, and I don't want to get glue in my punch, right? Or I'm going to try to avoid it. So I might actually take this and roll that back just a little bit because that punch is going to swoop in there. I'm going to go down here more and up the sides. And that gets centered on here. Like that. Okay, so for the punch, I've got a 2 1/4 inch punch, and I want to make sure I nip out the middle area here. So half of 4 1/4 is 2 1/8. So I'm going to take my ruler and put it here and make a tick mark at 2 1/8. right? So I know that this is getting punched off. And so because I've got a tick mark here, it'll help me gauge because there's a divot down in that punch. And you're punching 3 pieces of paper at one time, so you want to make sure you're very careful. And this kind of just goes in here like that. I see the middle area of my punch here, and I see that tick mark. So I'm going to try to make sure I keep that centered, and I'm far enough away from my ribbon. And you want to take like a little notch out of here, like you just ate some paper, I guess. So you're catching the designer paper a little bit. I'm going to do one punch and see what happens. Now, when I see this, I might decide, oh, I want more. You can't say you want less, right? So don't take too much of a bite out of it. On this one, I can see I came down a little bit more. But what we could do is test it out by putting this in here and seeing if somebody knows that, oh, there's a piece of paper in here, you can grab it. If you decide you want more, it's not the end of the world. All you have to do is take and put your punch right back in here, like so. And you just go down a little bit further. I mean, your tick mark's not there anymore, but you should be able to follow the guide here to keep that even. You can do a little bit more, right? So you can always take away a little bit. You can't do more. And you could use a 2-inch punch if that's what you have. You could use a 1 3/4. You could use a 1 1/2. Basically, you're trying to just notch out a little bit right there. All right, so this is where the seed packet's gonna go in, right? And then that goes here, like that. And what we need to do is do a little stamping. So I believe that I mentioned that I do not have my With You in Mind stamp set down here, but I'm gonna scroll through the archives here and see if I'm sending you lots of love and hugs. That might work. Wish that's too big. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Let's see if this will work. Sending you lots of love and hugs is perfect. I can live with that. It's about the same as best wishes to me. So what we're gonna do is grab a block. The card is great for any occasion, right? And sending you lots of love and hugs is a great one for this card. We're gonna grab that and put this, it should say sending you lots of love and hugs and seeds. Put that right here. Now, on the back of this is the white for the back. We have in Floral Charm a flower, or a branch. And so I think what we'll do is I have the flower already prepped on a block, and it's right here. So we'll get that marinate for a moment. We'll put this flower right on the bottom here. I'm going to use berry. I'm okay with it. Like that. Okay. And that should be marinated enough. Perfect. All right, so underneath this white, there's a little ribbon. It's a loop, a tail, and a tail. So we need to have a couple waiting in the wings here, and then a couple on the bottom corner here. So that can come off, that can come off. And what I do is grab the tail and make sure it catches that tear and tape. It's attached, and then I make a loop, and then a loop, and then I bring this one, I can MacGyver that down like this. I hear a kitten clopping around, maybe. Oh, I hear him. Yep, he's on the chair. Then I'm going to take my scissors and cut the tail like this. And then I've got a nice tail there at an angle. I can put that right on the back where their tear and tape is, and then trim it. So I've wasted no ribbon. All of it got consumed on here. And I'm going to put this tear and tape up like that, and that one like that. So that's how I've got the loop, the tail, and the tail. So we can glue this, and we're going to pop this up with dimensionals because that ribbon provided a bit of height. So we're going to use these up today. like that. And that just gets centered onto your circle. So this is Spotlight in Nature. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's a 2 1/4 inch punch. So we used it twice on here. Nice. All right, did I pop that up? No, I didn't. Okay, so we can glue this down. And we're gonna glue this down. A little bit there and a little bit there. Let's grab this guy back out. Now you've got your white for the back here to write your love note. Scoop that back in here. And then this little dude. I had it set up so that these tails are kind of hanging out with that line right over there. I want it like that. So that you see more of the designer paper. Nice. Okay, and then gemsies. You guys, just to be cognizant of time, I'm going to talk about the gems. Everybody got a pack of their gems like this in their kit. And I put a berry, and then the light pink, and a berry on here. The blue did not really match so well, but you guys have a whole pack of gems. Embellish till your heart's content. And for those that also want to, you could have sponged blackberry ink around the white circle to make it stand out and pop a little bit more too. All right, so voila! An hour and 20 minutes into class and we've got one card made. Isn't that amazing? All right, so gotta take a drink of water to stay hydrated. What that means, you guys, you have one of these left to make. So if you, I'm gonna leave this with this card, right? This goes with this. You guys should have, it might be best for you guys to stage your things, right? I'm gonna leave this envelope flap because I'll put that in there and glue that later, right? So you'll have, I have one set left to make one more card, right? So that it's gonna go on a pile to make later in life, all right? And I'm gonna embellish that later as well. Okay, that one is off to the side. Oh, we're off to the races now, you guys. All right, so we're gonna say, oh, don't forget your daisy needs to go with that too. All right, so we got that one done. Now the next one, we've already got our designer paper cut. And you can see by this that there's no misty moonlight and there's no white. So you guys gotta give your ribbon a retiring moment here and be happy that we had some of this really pretty cream ribbon left and we included just what you needed in the kit. And we'll see that in a moment when I pull out the kit. So go back to where your cellophane bag pile is and keeping it horizontal, what we're gonna do is grab, you should have your flower stuff here and all the way to where there's 2 peacocks that are quarter sheets. These 2 pieces here go with that card, okay? So let's bring this out and put this back somewhere else for now. Thanks, Yvonne. Right. And we have a little bit more cutting and scoring to do. Oh, not scoring, but we've got some intense cutting here. So let's move our tape out of the way. And you've got your 2 envelope flap things, right? So I'm just gonna set those off to the side. I'm not gonna worry about gluing envelopes at the moment, right? And then you've got here, you've got this set here, which I'm only gonna do 1 card right now. So I'm gonna take and make a pile to set off to the side for me. And I'm gonna keep this goes over here. My mom gave me some scraggly ribbon. So you can see, oh, what did she do? Oh, okay. I'll make that work. I'll show you. So the ribbon came like this, gnarly, right? I'm gonna see if I can make that work for my card and show you how I do it. So I'll save that for later. And then this goes on this pile. This will go over here. And I think I'm gonna score and cut everything for both of them at the same time though. All right, so we've got our piles ready. Now, we gotta make our templates here. So from our templates, we're gonna make our stuff. So on this one, we already have our score line here, right? So when you fold this in half, good to go. We do need to cut at an angle here. And it is 1/4 of an inch from the edge. So you get your pencil, get your ruler, and you have your score line here. So with it folded is probably the easiest to do because it's too hard to see it when it's open. You're gonna take at a 1/4 inch and put a tick mark right here, right? And then here, it's 4 inches down from the corner. So take your ruler and at 4 inches, put a tick mark, right? And so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna burnish this really quick, the bone folder. We're gonna grab a trimmer and cut that corner off. Oh, you know what? Let's do the other one right away, because then I can do both at the same time, right? Because you'll probably want to do both of yours at the same time too. So 1/4 of an inch in, like that, and then 4 inches down, like that. Okay, now let's grab our trimmer, and you're going to want to set it up so that that little pencil mark, which is really hard to see, is right there, and then that pencil mark is right there, right? So there and there. Ooh. Don't hesitate, just go for it, right? So we're cutting off that corner, right? So this matches our template then, right? Perfect. We're gonna do the same thing on this one. We're cutting from the pencil mark, which is really hard to see, and pivot till you get to the pencil mark there. Make sure that one didn't move, and cut that off, right? We're not done though. We also have to cut this section off right here, and we're gonna miter that side. So grab your scissors here. You're gonna miter this side. So mitering is at an angle, right, like that. And you're gonna miter this side, right? And now what happens is, this is what wraps around the back, okay? So you do wanna be a little bit more precise with this bottom. You don't, like that last card, we shorted up and we cut it off. Nothing is wrapping up and over this. So I personally would use my trimmers for this. And what I would do is, I know that the card needs to be 5.5 inches tall. So at 5.5 inches here, I'm going to cut this off so it's nice and flush, right? So get right to where you've already mitered it there, and that should fall right off. So when you fold this back now, this should be straight across the back, nice and flush. So let's do that a second time. Over here, we're going to miter the left side at an angle, miter that right side like that, and then we're going to go into the cutter at 5.5. And that should fall right off. All right, so that's what we got. Now you could have skipped this whole concept of this tab and just glued it flat, but we liked the way it looked having a tab. It looks cleaner, right? So that's why we opted for this. And that's why our instructions and recipes were so confusing, because originally we didn't have tabs, and then we opted to do tabs, all right? So I'm gonna burnish this right away. Right, so there's that. And then I'm gonna burnish, oh, I'm gonna leave this for my pile because I'm only doing one. Okay, over here you go. Right, so that one's ready to go. I believe that these are for the scrapyard, because this is, yeah, that's not what we use there. So these go into your scrapyard pile. And now you have this guy left. You're gonna go right there. All right, so this guy's left. So we got kind of a similar concept. We need to cut off this 1/2 inch down here, right? So this one, remember that this is going to be flipping up like this, right? So let's fold this in half on the score line so we can see what's going on with the bone folder. So this is, let's pull this out here. So these two are the same piece right here. They're this and this. And what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna cut this corner off, and we also have to create a little tab because the tab goes in this way, all right? It was a very complicated card also, but worth it, yes. Hi, Margene Eskelson. All right, so what we need to do here is, like this, okay. So we have here 1.5 inches here, and it says this tick mark is 2 3/4 from the left side, right? So when you take this and you measure down, it is when this is folded. Let's fold this. I want to make sure we get this right. So we're going to fold this over because we're pretending it's not really there at the moment. And so if we look at this like that, and we pull this down, it's 2 3/4, right? So 2 3/4. So when we put our tick mark, it's from where the score line is here down. So let's grab that pencil back. We're gonna do 2 3/4 right there, right? And then we said 1.5 from this side. Oh, poor Diane doing this. Oh. All right. Right, so we're going to go ahead and just cut this off right away. I'm gonna keep that folded, and we're gonna do right there, and right there, right there, right there. Okay. Right. So this little guy is what's down in the corner here, right there. Right? But we got to cut the flappy flap off, right? So we'll do that in a minute. So what happens here, though, is we don't need, so we have this here. We don't need this little bat wing here, right? So we're going to just take our scissors and keep angling it down like that, right? So you could have, like, you know, and here's the deal. My blade is getting a little bit shabby here, so I'm just going to take my scissors and shore up the little fuzzies there, okay? So now this is important too. This section here, this 1/2 inch section, needs to get wedged off as well. So we're gonna miter this up, and we're going to put this in the trimmer, and we know we need it to be 4.5. And we wanna make sure we don't cut that little flap off, so I'm gonna tuck it away. And we're gonna cut this off, okay? So again, my trimmer, I gotta find the blade. I'm gonna search for it here in a moment. I'm not one for little fuzzies hanging out here. But that's pretty much what we needed to do. And so this is going to end up going in there. And this goes like that, right? And then this other guy is going to wrap around here. And then this little tab goes up and in. And then this little tab actually goes like that. And we got a little shoring up. It's a little bit kitty-wampus right now because of needing to cut off some hairs, right? But for the moment, I'm going to, where do I have my little baby trimmer? My wee little one is right here. Let's grab you, my friend, and use you to cut this guy off here. So this is the little tab now that goes, or the little triangle that goes right down here. Right, had to use it, right? We didn't want to waste it. Waste what? Not waste, not want not. All right, scrapyard or garbage. Well, let's do this one more time. Now that you've seen it once, hopefully you can understand what's happening. So we want to have this folded in half on the score line, right? Burnish it. We've got it so our flowers are the correct direction here, and the peacock is the opposite. And what we're gonna do is fold this down with this, right? And so first tick mark is at 1.5, like that. And then we're gonna go down here to 2 3/4, like that. Now, in this case, we'll try it a different way. We're going to open it up because I think we can avoid cutting that little tab off. We still want to make sure we pivot here from that that tick mark. Oh, we are gonna wanna flip it down. Otherwise it's too hard to get it right there. So we're gonna go for it and just put it right there. Find your 1.5 there. Get that guy there. All right. Cut that off. Save that. Trim some hairs. And trim that off. And we're going to miter our edge right here. That. And on this one, cut that little guy off of here. So I'm going to go to 4 1/4. We're going to cut that off. Right to there. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to save this for the other card when I make it, and I can always button things up on that. For now, let's go back. Oh, we got this guy yet. Let's cut him. I make it look so easy. Sorry. Oh. I think well, the great thing about it is you guys can watch the replay, right? So you can always start and stop and pause it. And you also will have the tutorial with the grid. Like, this is going to be in the tutorial, right? So you can follow along with this template and the tutorial, and hopefully you guys will be thinking when you actually do it, it's easy too. Now here's my other thing. Use copy paper. If you're worried you're gonna do it wrong, what you should do is make yourself your own template like this out of copy paper. Then when you go to cut it, I mean, honestly, if I wouldn't have the template that we made last week like this, we made this right before I left on Tuesday, and Diane had it for class, so it was really great because if you have this template, then you're not gonna mess up your designer series paper. All right, so let's get back here to this thing. And once we get this together, the rest of it goes pretty smoothly. What's happening now is it's kind of kitty wampus. So when this fits in here, this is too tall, this buckles up here, and we just gotta shore some things up. That's what this comes down to. And knowing that these kind of are interlocking. So when Sandy did her card, she did not have these tabs. Where is her card? Where is her card? Let me show you. Let me show you. Comes here. One moment, please. So Sandy doesn't have tab. She does on the bottom here. No, she doesn't. So this inside one is what's creating this roll around here, and she glued it here. So there's no like tab here, and she has these kind of just meeting up here, right? There's no tab to interlock. They're glued, which is perfectly fine, and that will work. But we thought, well, let's make some tabs on the side. It's gonna look a little bit polished and cleaned up, but what happens is you've got this much right here that's hanging over the edge, and it doesn't look clean and neat. So what's gotta happen is with this side here, we need to trim off a hair, right? By trimming off a hair, it's going to give us the ability to kind of wedge this in the corner and this be flush here. I'll be telling you honestly here, my trimmer with that blade the way it is gonna fray it. And so I'm bringing in the big guns here, you guys. I have used a Fisker's cutter, that's this guillotine cutter. I've used it since 2008 I've had one. I've had multiple now because after a while they do go like to haywire. But I know I can trim off a hair here and it's gonna do it crisp and clean, and I don't have to worry about changing my blade. But I said only a hair, right? So what I'm gonna do is straighten this up, and I'm gonna make sure it's nice and even, and I'm gonna hold this. And that hair is really hard to do on a guillotine too, I'll be honest with you. So, right, just, and like that little guy right there. So really I was just trying to get that little schnibbles off. And the way you know you have enough done is when you put this in here, like this, and when this wraps around, it doesn't buckle and it's not too tight, right? Now, if you trim the right amount to begin with, you're gonna be a lot better off. This goes like that. I think I can work with this. It's super close. I just know that if here's the other idea here. So I was gonna say, let's move you back down here. We need to do that little trim job. I think what I'm gonna do is actually use my scissors a little bit too. So let's grab right? You could also just use your scissors. It was, let me just see where it was. So when this goes right here, that butts up in here, like that. It's just a hair. You don't see it. You're not going to even see it. So we're just going to use the scissors here. We're going to do just this hair. This, I know if I go back to the Fiskars trimmer, it's going to pull it and buckle it. So I'm going to just use the scissors here. You'll not see this line at all that's being cut. And you're just grabbing a little bit more, like that. So now when you put this in here, and then this wraps around here like that, it will lay nice and flat. Okay, so we got that shored up, okay? There's a bottom though too now. Is this in the Inspiration Hive yet? No, Penny, it's not. Jolene's gonna be preparing it tonight, and then it will be available by tomorrow, I'm guessing. All right, so now what happens, but this, if you hold this like this, and you just let this roll up and over, it'll kind of adjust the way you want it to, right, like that. Okay, kind of did that, and so nothing's really hanging over the edge here, right? I got that kind of evened up. So before you start gluing stuff, it's really important just to make sure you're happy with how this laid out. The other thing I'm seeing is right up here, that piece right there is a little bit tall, which is fine. It's all good. You can take your scissors, trim that up, right? So now everything seems like it's nice and flush and even. Like that is the goal, right? So once you have it to this point, now it's a matter of gluing, and there's not a lot of things that need to get glued. It's primarily this tab right here, and this tab right here, and then this back area. And that's it, because everything else in here is set up. So what we can do is open this up, and you want to use tape or liquid glue, I guess, pick your poison, right? Whatever you think is best for you. I think what I'm going to use here, I'm going to flip that down and flip that. I'm going to use liquid glue. Hello, Mimi Howenstein, coming in late, just returned from South Carolina, yay! The Grands the last week. Perfect. So we're going to do the glue here, glue there, and then might as well go like this. All right, so let's get that guy up, this guy over, and like that. Okay, that's what we got. Okay, so again, you could have avoided a lot of the extra stuff by not having those, the two tabs, but I'm going to actually, you need glue close to the edge here, right there. Right, let's see if that worked better now. Yep, so then that, nice and flush. Oh, you also need glue on the bottom here a little bit more. So I glued it like I would normally a mat, but you really want to have glue close to the bottom, and that's where if you use tear and tape, like you could get it right to the edge. So, and then I'm just gonna take and trim this a hair. There it is. All right, it's a lot of work, I'll tell you that. You might be turned off or you might not. I don't know. We'll find out if you guys make your cards. Hopefully you do. So now that that's done and staged, what happens is this is the piece that is supposed to be inside here. But if you can see, we cut your mat a little bit too big. So this mat is actually supposed to be this. And by having it the size that we gave it to you, it's too big for this, right? So what you're gonna need to do, oh, so Diane did say that we were missing 2 pieces of vanilla, and I'm wondering now if this is the piece, the card we were missing it in. We went through and we were trying to figure out, she thought that we were missing 2 pieces of vanilla, and This must be the card, and we must be. Okay, so this piece right here is cut a little bit too big for you guys, so we're gonna have to trim this down. It's supposed to be a 4 by 5 3/8, right? So let's trim that as long as we've got it. And I'm gonna pull this guy out. So 4, so you'll have to trim yours down, 4 by 5 3/8, right? So that's down to the size that it needs to be. So it's just cutting off a little on each side, but that will make this be the size that it is. And then what happens is we have here, this piece will go with this, and then you have a stitched rectangle, a nested essential, that'll go there. You have your 2 circles that are gonna go on the outside. We'll stamp on that. And then you have this piece of petal pink. Gwen's loving the card, good. This little piece of petal pink is gonna go behind here as an accent piece. And you'll have your piece of vanilla and then this guy right here. And what happens is you've got that, and then this little leaf gets covered up. So what we did is we ripped it off and we used it on this side. All right, so knowing now that Diane was on her, she knew it. She said, wow, I think we're missing vanilla. They were missing it in class. So here's my deal for you guys. If you have vanilla and you can use it, like if you have a sheet of vanilla, pull out your vanilla and you're gonna cut yourself 2 mats, right? And they are 3 3/4 by 5 1/8, okay? If you don't have vanilla paper, let me know and I will put 2 pieces of vanilla paper in the mail for you. I can handle that. 5 1/8 by 3 3/4 is what you need. And if you don't have vanilla paper, please send me an email, reach out to me, and what I'll do is I will cut the 2 pieces of paper like this, I'll pop it in a little envelope, and I'll get it in the mail for you. Or if you want, I can put it in your August or your September class package. So there we go. So we're gonna need that. And how this works for this rose, what I would do is put a little bit of liquid glue. You gotta be careful because there's little nick marks in here from when it gets die cut and the glue can ooze through it. So what I'm gonna do is adhere that to this, and we're gonna Freddy Krueger that in a moment, okay? So we're gonna let that sit for a second. So the Better Together comes from a set that's called Scenic Adventures. Scenic Adventures looks like this, and there's a little Better Together there. And then I've got Hoping Your Day is the Best Ever. That comes from the tag set here, or no, all zipped up. And then on the inside, we have Wishing You a Lifetime of Love and Happiness. All right, so we've got a few things to get stamped. So we are gonna grab Better Together, the little baby block. And we're gonna put that near the top here, like that. And then the tag one, oh, I keep calling it, it's zipped up, all zipped up. You gotta be careful with this because it's a red rubber, so if you don't like the way it looks, you're gonna have to either live with it or, I'm stamping on the back now, and I like the way that turned out, so I'm gonna flip it over and try to reproduce that. Good deal. So that's for that one. And then on the inside here, you've got a little triangle, and that little triangle is hanging out somewhere. I saw it. I had a little triangle. I'll grab this one. All right, so I want to make sure that that's here. And then I have Wishing You a Lifetime of Love and Happiness right there. Okay, all right, so 3 things for stamping. Oh, pooper scooper. Got ink everywhere. Hang on one moment. I have a chamois right here. Let's clean up on aisle 9 really quick. There it is. Okay. Yeah, it's not fun when stamps flip over on you. Thank goodness when the stamp fell, it fell right into that and you can't even see it. All right, so we're gonna put you that way. All right, we're done with the inky dinky doo. And You guys ready for some intense assembly here? So let's get glue happy. We can glue this, we can glue that, we can glue this, and we can glue this, we can glue this. All right, so that guy, that one. Start with that for now. So there's a little bit of a hokey pokey here that needs to happen. Let's get that off of there. That goes right in the middle. You could pop it up if you wanted, but there's a lot going on with this, so I let it be. So this one's gonna go onto the peacock mat there. And then this one, I would keep it flat because it's going into that pocket. Right, so that's that. And then this guy go in the corner as an accent piece. Then this is glued like that. Perfect. Okay, so that guy's ready to flip in our pocket. Okay, like that. So that stamp was perfect because it's stamped over here and now you don't see it over there. And then when you put this guy in, he's going to hang out right about there. Okay, and then the other thing though I just noticed here, that is a little bit loosey-goosey here, right there. What I would do for that is stage a little bit of tear and tape right where it's supposed to be in its holder. But stage a little tear and tape right along the edge there. And then that'll hold that down. Okay, back on track. Then this guy right here is gonna get popped up with some dimensionals. Got that right about here. Maybe a 1/2 inch from the bottom, a 1/2 inch from the right. And then for this guy, how we're gonna put this one, I only want that petal pink to be seen in the gaps here. So I didn't glue all the way to the edge, so I'm just gonna go around the edge here and Frankenstein this. As long as I'm not cutting the Cajun craze, it doesn't matter. Right, and then right there, and one little bit right there, and there. Okay, so you want to see what the back looks like? A hot mess. Okay, I was only to get a color, some color through the pink, through the Cajun flower. All right, so that was just a scrap of petal pink that was in your kit. And then what we can do is put the back with a little tear and tape. And you've got, I don't know, about 5 inches there. You have a loop, and a tail. So underneath here, what we're gonna do is put a little tear and tape there. And then down here is where the loop tail is. The other thing we can do is, let's bring the card over here. So because I have the sample, I can do this, right? So if you are at home and you have a sample of a card you like and you're reproducing it, you can easily clone it by doing something like this, right? And then this little guy, you can set him, I can, because I have it. But once you do your first one, you guys will be able to do that. And there's no tear and tape over there. So let's grab a little tear and tape. Hi, Nancy Mo. This guy can get some tear and tape right there. And let's try that concept again. We'll put our little leaf right there. So once you make your first one, then you can use this concept for your second card, right? So that picked that up. And now we have our loop tail. Now I got a hot mess of garbage here. So I'm gonna start off with the nice end and see what I end up with. So a loop, and that crappy part is gonna come up a little high for me, and then I'll be able to cut it right there and be just fine. Now we'll go in the garbage. You gotta make sure you button this up on the back with some tear and tape, otherwise it will come apart later in life. And needs a little, mine needs a glue dot back here. Go right there. Okay. So this provides a lot of height here. So I'm actually going to pull that off and use the stickiness to help glue. And then we're going to grab some dimensionals on the other part of it. And this goes right on the bottom here. Sticky. Right, so something like that. And what I did is I saved a little room here to put a gem. And there's 2 gems right here. They're hard to see, but there's a gem here, and there's 2 right there. Okay, you guys also should Stella anything and everything you want to, right? I'm gonna save some time and not currently Stella anything. All right, 2 hours in, we've got 2 cards done. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what is it, 3 o'clock? Okay, so there we go. So we've got my sample here. Got some recipes. Can go in the back there. And I found my little triangle for my other card. Nice. All right. So we got the 2 hardest ones done. I would have to say that those are the ones that are gonna make you work for it really hard. Really, really a lot of work, okay? Hopefully you guys don't get discouraged. And hopefully you have vanilla paper. If you don't have vanilla paper, again, reach out to me and let me know so I can make sure I can get some vanilla paper to you. There was a lot of pieces with this one. All right, so I'm going to save my card over here, and then we'll move this one off to the side. Okay, perfect. So we have 2 done, which is awesome. And let's see what's next in the lineup. Okay, perfect. This guy is next. He's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So we're gonna set this off to the side here. We're gonna do that one, and we're going to do the navy one. All right, so in the navy, we gotta cut some paper next. And then what's back here, that guy? There's gotta be 2 cards here. One moment, please. Let's grab just this one. All right. All right, there were 2 navy, so make sure you're only grabbing the top navy one. And let's see what the cards look like. It's gonna be this card and then this guy right here. That's what we got. All right. So we have to cut some designer paper here and the backs here. So the mats and the top mats are designer paper. For this one, we cased a card from the past. You guys, if you have been with me for a couple of years, you might remember this card. So we cased this one from a past class, right? So I've got the toggle going on. And then this one, we cased from Karen Forward. She sent me this awesome, well, actually, I think she sent Tyler this awesome plain card. And very cool. So that was from Karen Forward, so we cased that one. Now for designer paper, oh, I might have lied. You guys, I had vanilla paper here. So I'm really confused. This was, oh, I must have just cut that. Haha. Okay, never mind. I'm not confused anymore. I cut it myself. Haha. Okay, so in this one, we're gonna need this top sheet, the top 2 here, and then, oh, the top, these guys right here. We need, grab all 4 of them. I don't know exactly how much we need at the moment. We'll figure that out as we go. So on this one, we need to cut, we have our envelope flap, right? And then we have this strip here. This back pink piece is designer paper, and these 2 and those 2. So there's a little bit of designer going on here. So the dark, and it's back to back, and we do have lines going on here. So when you flip this over, you can see here that's that piece. So that back piece that's on the inside is your 5 1/4 by 4 traditional. So, and let me just look to see if my blades are in here. If they are, I'm gonna flip and switch this out, and if they're not, maybe not there. Ah, I found them. Okay, so here we go. You buy blades for your trimmer. You take them out. get 4 of them. So let's grab this guy back out. And I wouldn't save them, I guess. I would throw it away. Otherwise you're gonna get confused on good ones versus bad ones, right? Okay, so we need 5 1/4 by 4, and we need 2 of those. And then we also need, for the outside here is 5 1/4 by 1 7/8. So I wanna make sure that I'm cutting this the right direction. So I want my flowers to be going this way for the top pieces. So I am going to flip it this way and cut 5 1/4 here. Okay, and then by 4. So 5 1/4 by 4, and then 4. So these 2 pieces, because you're doing 2 cards, right? These 2 pieces are for the inside back mat, right? And then we need by 1 7/8 and 1 7/8. So we'll do 1 7/8 and 1 7/8. These 2 are going to go for those mats, and that's only for 1 card. So we need to do for another card. So 1 7/8 and 1 7/8 is 3 3/4. So what do I want to do here? I'm going to do this, and then back at 5 1/4. I'm just cutting 2 more of those, and now I go back this way at 1 7/8. All I did was cut 2 more, okay? So those are for the mats. There's also going to be a piece right there, and there's also now, we have these 2 pieces and then that. So let's see what we can do here. So that is going to be 5 1/16 by 1 11/16. So I'm going to cut this at 5 1/16. Okay, and then 1 11. Now these, you want to keep these paired up. So we're going to do 1 11/16. 1 11/16. So that's 1 pair. I'm going to put the left one on the top, and then 1 11/16 and 1 11/16. Right. Okay, left one on the top. We'll set that over here. And then on the inside here, we have a little strip here. And that little strip is a little guy. I think it's actually, we took this and we just cut it in half, and I'll have to see here what size it is. So it's 1 1/2, so we're just going to do 3/4 and 3/4. So this is the inside popped up thing. So we got those 2. And then for what's left, this goes into your scrap yard. And then you have to dip into the next piece. Now you want your envelope flap. It's 2 1/4 tall by 6. So let's cut our 2 1/4 tall by 6. And that's for our envelope, right? Envelope flaps. And then this piece right here, this designer piece, the pink, is 2 5/8 by 3 5/8. So 2 5/8 by 3 5/8. So I'm just going to go to this side and do 2 5/8 here, scrap yard, and then 3 5/8 and 3 5/8, scrap yard. Hello, honey. What's going on, Buttercup? You got a lot to figure out if you're gonna walk over here. Okay, hi, baby cakes. Hi, Mom. You got a lot of stuff around here. Sure can't find any spots to lay out. All right, so that's, and that might be a hair big, actually. Let's see here. Hi, honey. Hello, baby kittens. It was actually 7/16 by 7. Okay, 2 7/16 by 3 7/16. So it was a hair under. What you got going on, girlfriend? Oh, you guys are gonna kill me. 2 9/16. I knew it was over the 1/2 inch mark. So it's 2 9/16 by 3 9/16. Okay. What are you thinking about, honey? I'd have some food if you don't mind. I'm busy, honey. Sorry, girlfriend. All right, 2 9/16 by 3 9/16. Oh, honey, making messes here. Okay. So this little guy was 9/16. So 2 9/16 by 3 9/16. Okay. That's the designer paper for this one. Done. This guy's not hard. He's got, so what's happening is the orange is designer paper, and then that's the back side, right? So the orange is your 5 1/4 by 4, which is our normal mat size. And I want my stripes to be going, or my foliage to go this way, so I'm gonna cut it this way. We're gonna do 5 1/4 by 4. 2 of those. Okay. And then this piece right here is 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. So we have a little bit left here. And not enough to do both, but there's enough for this one. But then this piece right here is what we used there, but it's just a little wide, but we'll trim that down. But we need another 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. So we're gonna do 2 3/4 here by 5 1/4. Right, so that's the mat for the outside here, right? Then our floral piece on the outside here is 5 by 2 1/2. So let's do 5. Do this way. 5 by 2 1/2. 2 1/2 and 2 1/2 is 5. So let's do that and then this. Right, so these are the pieces that go over the top of that. And then this inside piece here is 1 inch. So we can use this one. We'll cut that at 1 inch. And then we have here, we can cut a 1 inch off of here. And this is actually gonna need to be trimmed on the 5 inch side here. So we have our 2 5 by 1 inch pieces for that. Okay. For our envelope, so this was all that was left of the one sheet. So we need to dip into the other sheet. And I would cut that at 2 1/4 by 6. And that is for our envelope flaps. Like that. Okay. So that wasn't so crazy, right? That is not very intense compared to the last. So this is what we had left for that paper. So let's put that right there. And let's assemble these two then. See what we can figure out. All right. I'm thinking this card was next. So let's grab all of our pieces, and we're only going to do 1 right now. So let's divide up our pile. So you have your base, right? A ribbon. Again, it's vanilla. So we just cut that for what you need. You have your inside. That goes there. And then you need one of those there. And then half of it goes on this pile. So we've got this. Goes over here. And then this goes there. That goes here. That goes here. So I'm making one with you guys. So I'm going to make that one, and I'm going to set this off to the side for now. All right. Little assembly happy here. So for this one, you could burnish it on your score lines, and this will hump up then, right, like this, okay? And what we are going to do is, I don't have anything stamped on the inside. I just have a hello card. So we'll keep it simple for now. We'll glue That fits good. Okay, we're gonna glue both of these pieces in. Oh, I know, it's so sad to cover up this pretty paper, but that's how it goes. We're gonna glue and glue. So for those that don't like to use designer series paper for mats, you could also save that paper and pull out your own berry burst mats. That would be fine. This, you're gonna wanna pop this up. Now this is perfect for using when you have this track like this. So I'm gonna cut the track. And when you put this down, you don't wanna have the dimensional all the way to the left edge. I'm gonna go for the center here. And that is, by popping this up, you need to pop this up because that will give it the ability for this to kind of get caught on it. And it goes right there. Right? So that's popped up, that gets caught in there like that. Okay? Now, for gluing these things, we can glue. So I'm going to flip both of them like this. Glue them down. All right, and I know it looks so weird seeing all the same pink paper. That goes there. And that goes there. All right. Now in here you also have this piece right here. Now this is for both cards. No, I lied. There's two of them. Let's see what I have here. This is for both cards. No, I already pulled one out. No, this is for the one card, but you need to cut this in half is what I'm trying to say. So this is currently set at, let's see what our measurement is. I think it's 3 inches. Yep. So we need to cut this at 1.5. So what we did is we scored it at 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch here. And what you need to do then is cut this at 1.5. And it's going to create, these are your tabs to create the little toggle, right? So fold them in half and burnish them. Right, so that goes here. So what happens in the back here is they got to get glued back here. And how you're going to glue it is one bottom side and one bottom side get glued like that. And then you'll glue these pieces over, and then the toggly thing will go to the top. So I guess it makes sense. If you've never done a card like this, it's easier to watch. So we're going to glue this. And then glue that one. So that butts up, and it can be just pretty much in the center. Like that. Perfect. Okay. Center top to bottom is best. Now, these are going to get glued over the top of the bottom ones, right? So they get hidden. Keep them in order so that the left one flows into the right one. Right, so that covers up the bottom tab. And now the back piece here, this backdrop, these get the glue, and then that's what's going to attach to this. So what you can do is put the glue right here and then plop this down. Center it top to bottom, left to right. Like that is good. All right, then this piece right here. Oh, you know what? I bet we cut, okay. Well, here you go. We gave you an extra piece of paper. I don't know why, but we did. The berry burst is a little bit different, right? We did use the designer paper for the mat here, but we gave you a berry burst mat here. Now, there you go. We gave you an extra piece of paper. Make something pretty with it. I'm going to stick with this one because this is what's going to match the card. And I did pop this up with dimensionals. How's it going, Shelly? Making progress?
Doesn't seem like it, but I am.
Okay. Did you get one color done yet?
No.
No? Okay. Still working on pink?
Yep.
Okay. We are going to put dimensionals here. pop that up. All right, so this is going to go right in the middle here. Again, we gave you a berry burst piece. I wouldn't use it. I would actually use the designer paper. That seems like it's gonna match a lot better. All right, so on here, we've got this already rounded corners for you. And what we did is we splattered. So we took a block with ink and then took our aqua painter or your Stella and you just splatter it. To splatter or not to splatter, that's up to you. And then what happens, I'm gonna stamp the word hello. I just migrated over to this right away. So on this one, what we did is we had the die cutters cut out a whole section of it in pecan, and then they did a section here in berry. You don't need the leaves on here though. We're gonna trim those off, and you're gonna trim that off, and you can trim these leaves off, right? That's gonna be garbage. Then, if it works, pop these guys out. If they're stuck in there, you might consider just leaving them. These seem to be popping out good. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna glue that right over the top. I'm actually gonna leave this pecan, these pieces, I'm gonna leave them in those main flowers. I'm gonna leave them like they are. They'll give it some stability, I think, for the gems that we're putting on the top. But I'm gonna pop that guy out. All right, so we're just gonna glue this right over the top of that. All right, just like that. Okay, that should line up right over the top of it. And you still will be able to poke that stuff out like this right here. You can still poke that out if you want that out of there. Okay. All right, lots of little scribblies here. So the hello, 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 that comes from the stamp set that is called Beautiful Butterflies. And we stamped it in pecan pie. It goes near the top left. And whatever sentiment fits in there, this card is very versatile for anything. So we're gonna do hello there. You called, is it me you're looking for? I'm gonna skip the splatters at the moment. I could always go back and splatter. Basically, you take a Stella pen into an ink and you just go all over. I think you guys have watched me for a little while. You've seen me do that. I'm gonna save a little time and keep her moving here. I'm gonna put that over the top of this, like that. Perfect. Then these guys, they're gonna get popped up with some dimensionals. So you can strategically place them all around here. I definitely want to have one in the middle area because I'm going to be putting gems in the middle, and I don't want, see, that came right out of there. So if you're going to put a gem or a dimensional down, you want to make sure that you get the whole area. So we're going to put some here, one right there. We'll catch this leaf right there. That one right there. I do want to grab a big one here. Put that right. What do I want to do? I'm going to do a little guy actually. Because then that goes right in the middle there. The gem will stick to that nicely then. Let's put a guy right there. All right, let's pick these off. I think that's probably enough for right now. Except for one more there. Ah! Come on, little dude. All right. I was just trying to make sure that I don't put dimensionals at any part that's hanging over. One more right there. Okay. This rounds up our corner over here. And I actually think I'm gonna take that middle dude off of there. So the gem will go over that, but then I ripped off this one is what I want to get out of there. I thought I could leave them, and now I don't like the way they look. So we take them off. And this goes right up the corner here. Now the splattering does add a little bit. I'm not sure from the camera if you can see the difference between the two, but there are little splatters all over, and in person it makes it look a little less stark. This guy's easy. You're going to take and do an overhand knot like that. Grab a glue dot or two. I'm going to do two right next to each other, and put your little overhand knot right into that area there. Again, that's the cream ribbon. What we did is we just cut exactly what you needed for the kit. Go there and there. Now, needs a little help over here. That guy seems to be wanting to flip up. So we're going to put a dimensional behind the leaf there. And my little tail is trying to do its own thing, and I don't like that, so I'm going to put a glue dot right there. And I'm tell it who's boss. All right, Gemsies. We've got the light pink ones in the middle of the flowers, and then some berry ones on the side here and over on the side. Here, 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 there, everywhere. Okay, well, McDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. All right. Whew, you guys, you doing okay? Are you guys still out there? I know I've got some of you yet there watching. Hopefully these aren't going to scare you too badly. They're well worth it once you're done with them, I'll tell you that much. Okay, so there's that guy. Let's move over to this one. So we have here this pile. So we're going to divide it up because I'm only making one. So here's one. Here's one. This piece is for you to stamp your flowers. Flower. So just hang tight on that. So then you have this grouping here, this grouping here, a white inside there. Now our designer paper. Envelope flaps. And then that section can go there. And then here and here. I'm going to set this off to the side. And we made this one into a wedding card. So we have Mr. and Mrs. on this little guy. And that's in Night of Navy. In the Navy. And right here. Mr. and Mrs. comes from a set that's called Heartfelt Hexagons. We use I Hope Your Day is Filled with Joy. And I use the Sending Love, Lots of Love and Hugs to You. I had that earlier. And then on the inside, oh, we use it here too. Perfect. Okay, so we got a little bit of stamping to do. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Totally worth watching. Good. Good, good. Still here, yes. Okay, good. So we're going to do Mr. and Mrs. here. Perfect, done. Then we need to clean a stamp. Let's see if I can get my chamois out of here without having a domino effect. Here's that. All right, so we had that Sending Sunshine Hugs Love Bug things. Words are getting hard here. So Sunshine Love Big Hugs. Okay, that is going to go over on this side over here. And we got to leave a little room for some flowers. Mimi's still here too. Good. Okay. All right. So we're going to put this over on the side here. Like that. Very good. And then, let's see here. I have, maybe that's a little bit of glue that's on here. Sometimes there's a little bit of residue. Oh, yeah. Sometimes there's a little bit of residue that gets left from the tape when they do the die cutting. And that's what that was. And then for our white piece here, we have to make sure we save some room on the side here for the designer paper. And there's, I Hope Your Day is Filled with Joy. Can go over here. Okay, very good. And then the last thing is the big flower. Flower Power. And what we're going to do is grab a scrap and put that underneath here. So we're going to stamp off though. So what we did is we did one off and then bring that up and around here like that. Okay, so that created a second strength ink. Okay, I think that's it for stamping on this one. Let's shut this. Okay, let's get assembly happy. So we've got some things going on here. That is our base, just needs to be burnished. And then we could do a little bit of gluing here. So these, ooh. So my designer paper here is a hair shorter than my white. So before I put glue on it, I'm gonna trim a hair off of here before I put glue. Perfect. Okay, so glue and glue. We can glue this. All right, like that. So let's get a little glue happy here. That's our top mat. And this is a flat mat. This is flat as well. So this goes onto the orange mat. So we could have used Timid Tiger or Pumpkin Pie or some sort of orange, but this orange on the back side matched perfectly. Ah, there's a little fruit fly. All right, that's there. And then this guy goes on here. Right, so we can flip him over. Now, before we glue this in though, we gotta make sure we get our tab on, or our little arm. So that guy goes here. Good deal. All right, so we got some stamping to do with flowers yet too. All right, this arm is in here and it's scored for you already. I have it a little bit north of the equator here. So if you have the middles here, it's up a little bit. And what we're gonna do is put a little glue on that edge. And I'm gonna put this so that the score line is flush to the edge. So I can take this and eyeball there. And for those scientific people that want the exact measurement, it's about 1 3/4 inch down from the top. That's where I've got that stationed. So now that that tab is down, right, that's important, because now that the tab is down, we can put the inside piece in. Like that. Perfect. Decent. All right. Then what happens, these two go back to back. There's a little hokey pokey you gotta do. And turn yourself around. A little bit more than a lot here. This is the Spotlight and Nature dies that my die cutters absolutely hate. A lot. I mean a lot. They hate all the little things that it leaves because they have to clean their plates every single time because these little schnibbles stick to the plates and then they leave divots in your die cuts, and nobody likes divots in their die cuts. So we did not make them happy with this class. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna glue this circle on here. Right about like that. Okay. Now, I should have done the other side first. So wait one moment, please. I should have done the other side first because it's more important that I get this straight and these little dots have to line up. So we're gonna do this simultaneously, I think. Let's see here. I'm gonna put a little glue here. I know I got glue everywhere now. That's okay, everywhere there's glue. I'm gonna put this right like this. See, I wanted to make sure that the sending you lots of love and hugs looks somewhat straight. So that's gonna go like that. Then, I know I've got glue there, I gotta be careful. This guy, I just gotta line up the holesies. Like that. Have they tried using a dryer sheet? Oh yes. They use dryer sheets, they use wax paper, they use it all. And I'm gonna get the glue gone from here before I get my project in it. Okay. It's just that they leave, like the plates, like these little divots, they just, all those little schnibbles, they just stick in the plates. It's just crazy. Okay, there's that. And then this little guy is popped up with dimensionals. And we want to make sure that there's none right there. So what I'm going to do is put 2 right there. And I'm going to put another one right there. One right there. And one right there. So those are all exactly where they need to be. And then I'm going to plop the circle right onto them. And that is what's going to hold this down. Okay. Now we have this piece of white that was in your kit, and you also have the vellum left. You're going to need to stamp some flowers, and we need them in navy, which we had out here. So this piece of paper is big enough for you to do 2 flowers, and then 2 flowers for the next card. So we have, I'll show you how to do it. I would put 1 like that. I'm thinking. I think we put 1 like this. Okay, and then the other one goes in this corner, kitty corner. Right? Like that, okay? So 2 flowers. I got a little close to the edge there, but it'll be okay. Then the next card that we're going to be doing is this guy, and it has that flower and 2 of them. So we need to grab that, and I think it needs to get cleaned. And you'll be able to fit 2 of them on here. Right, so you have 1 5.5 by 4 1/4 piece on the top of this kit, and what you're going to need to do is stamp 4 flowers on it. 2 for this card and 2 for a future card that's coming down the pipeline. Okay, then what we can do is cut these apart. I'll save these 2. One's for this card, one's for the next card. And coloring. We used the Timid Tiger and the old, the Mossy Meadows. Okay, so Timid Tiger is one of the new in colors. Hi, Melanie Boy. We're going to do a little bit of darker in the middle area here. And then a lighter everywhere else. So we got some orange-alicious flowers. Gina would be very, very proud with orange flowers. And then what we're going to do is use Mossy Meadow for our leaves. So that's it for this one. And you guys, if you're doing both of yours at the same time, you could do both of yours together, like color both at the same time. So I'm going to just see what the light Mossy Meadow looks like here. I think I might just go with the light Mossy Meadow versus the dark. I think this will be plenty dark for us. So you can use these blends for shading if you want to make them look detailed. I just sometimes color them, use them like traditional markers and just color. So using the fine tip helps you get into the little nooks and crannies a little bit easier. So I think that I did forget to bring my dies down, so I might just fussy cut this really quickly, maybe? Not even certain where my dies, oh, I know where they are, because for kitting, they're all up together in a pile. Okay, that's okay. I like the little bit lighter of the green on here. Okay, so just coloring 101 here, not doing any shading. Just getting our leaves all colored. This is gonna look great with the navy when we put it on here. It's gonna pop really good. So it was just light mossy meadow, and I used the dark and light tiger. Okay. Ready for a little fussy cutting? It'll be a little bit easier than me running upstairs to get the dies. I try to leave a little white border around. Did you do this class, Shelley?
Yep.
Okay. What time did you finish at?
It was like 10:10.
10:10, okay. 10 to 10.
Yeah.
And did you get all 6 cards done? I mean, all 12 or just the
No,
6?
6.
You got 6 done, okay.
Because we had a problem with
The
double-
DSP,
The double one.
yeah. I think Diane had you cut that she didn't realize that the designer paper needed to be flipped one way.
We got her.
And you got them, yep. Yeah, and there's not a lot of paper that is left over, so there's not a lot of wiggle room if you guys cut something bad. So it's always great to use copy paper to use as a sample first. In case you're uncertain, that does help. And there's that. Okay, so now you get to feel like a floriste. Somebody who arranges floral arrangement things, flowers. All right, that's done. And you have this vellum piece. We have it broken down into 3 chunks. Like, oh, 2 chunks. This over here is 1. Okay, so that comes off right there. That's that piece. And then we have this over here, so I'm gonna cut that right there. So that's where that guy goes. And then there's this leaf that's left. And what you could do is tuck him in over here, or you could tuck it in somewhere else. But basically, we cut it into 2 chunks, right? So just know that you've got, well, actually 3 chunks here. So 3 chunks and a lot of ribbon going on. So you're gonna need tear and tape city here. I've got tail, tail, loop, loop, loop and a tail, and then a loop, tail, tail. So how do we make all that happen, you guys? Let's show you. So you're gonna need both ribbons for this one. So the white and the blue. And grab a bunch of tear and tapes. So this one is coming down like that. It'll go like that. And then this one is on the side over there. And the side right there. And then there's some across the bottom here as well, like that. I'm just gonna grab another one. Make sure we're all tacky in the back here. Okay, so we got some tear and tape on the hand. Got a couple more. This is gonna be intense here. So we're gonna start with the blue at the top here. And I did a loop, so it's like this. I did a loop in the middle here. Like that. And then with it still attached, I made my tail come out like that. And I cut it off like that. And we're going to button him up just like that. Then I've got a white piece coming out next to it. Like that. I'd put another tear and tape back there. So loop, tail, tail. Over here I've got a white loop, so it's right in the middle here. I've got a white loop first, like that. And then I've got a tail coming down at an angle over there. Right, so when you look at it, there's a loop and then a tail. The blue is now, so we need more tear and tape back here, otherwise it's not going to be sticky for the next. And then there's a loop that's just bigger than it. And it loops like that, just a little bit bigger than it. And then that tail comes down on top over here. A little bit longer. So you've got a blue, like they're kind of synchronized simming right now. Okay. Go right over the top. Then down here, we added white. And it's a loop that comes out like this. And then the tail comes out like that. All right, and button that up. If you want to add blue there, you could as well, right? You guys, it's always yours, whatever you want to do to make it pretty. All right. You can always trim these if you need to, but we're not done because we got to get our vellum things in. So you're going to have to pick off that one. And this guy down here is going to be hanging out. Something like that, maybe. Okay. There was a little leaf somewhere. I've just temporarily lost him because he's kind of invisible. This guy is technically above, it's like the ribbon is, it's tucked in here first, actually. So to keep it simple, I've already done mine already, so I could put it behind it. Or I can try to sneak it in there. Hi, big boy. Cut that little knob off, and let's see if I can sneak what's going to happen here if I sneak that right there. I don't mind that. That could work. I don't know if it's really secure, but we'll figure that out later. And then I had a random little loose leaf that I have gotten lost. Oh, there he is. So this little guy, I might just stick him right there when the time comes, and we'll figure that out. So now that I've got all these buttoned on here, we're going to put that guy there. Let's bring this over here. The only thing that's going on is my Mr. and Mrs. I don't want to really cover that up. So I might just trim those tails a little bit shorter like I did there. All right, so all this can get dimensionals. Hi, big boy. Hi, handsome kitten. Hi, handsome. Hi, Mom. Oh, yeah, you want some scratchies. Make me work one-handed, buddy. Welcome to the party, Tigger. You want to say hi to anybody? Okay, so these get all picked off. Mom, you got so much stuff everywhere. I don't even know where to go. Hi, handsome. All right, this guy goes right like this or so. And I want to trim these guys a little shorter. Good deal. And then this one, I was going to pop him in right about there. So we're just going to grab a glue dot. On the end and tuck that up right in there. There. Waste not, want not. Use those little leaves up. Okay, this guy is going to have a little bit more of an angle, as is this one. All right. What's missing? I don't know. Oh, this guy right here. We're going to wedge a glue dot in there. I feel like he's not very sturdy right now. So we're going to take our pokey tool, grab that glue dot, and help it out and stick that up right through the ribbon area. That'll help hold that in place there. All right, now he shouldn't come out. But it's very delicate, so you've got to be very careful. The other thought is you might just take another glue dot and underneath this guy right here, give him a little help. so that it sticks down. Okay. Okay. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Whew. Little card marathon workout going on here. So that flips up. Got it. If anything needs help, like this guy, because I didn't take the back of the dimensional off, I guess I didn't. That might help. That'll stick better. Oh, your kitty Cleo has been watching you make you for a while. I think she knows your voice now. Aw. I can't keep my kitty off my craft table. She will park herself right. Yeah, right. They know exactly. Here comes Bigger Tigger, you guys. Here he comes. He's coming this way. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Are you gonna make it, buddy? We're waiting for you. Very gingerly steps here. He's like, Mom, I don't know where to step, except for I'm gonna step all over your stuff. Handsome kitten, don't fall down. All right, there we go. Gems, I've got 2 blue ones. This is where the blue ones came in. Blue, and some peach ones up there. So yay. All right, you guys, we're gonna keep rocking and rolling. Okay. We got 2 more cards to do and too little time. All right, what's coming back? Oh, you're gonna, hi buddy. Oh, Mom. I got so much stuff everywhere. All right, these next 2, let's see what they have in store for us. We have this guy. Okay, and we have this one. All right. Let's just color these right off the bat. I feel like that might be good to accomplish that. So this is Blackberry, oh, it's Berry Burst. I'm only gonna color 1 for right now. We stamped this a moment ago already, right? We had that piece of white paper and we stamped our 4 flowers on it. So this was from earlier. So that's Berry Burst, and then Lost Lagoon is what we're gonna use for this one. Those colors seem to work really nicely. So we'll have this colored, and then again the dies are upstairs, so I'm just going to fussy cut it. And you're probably looking at the card on the right and you're thinking, oh my gosh, she's really got too much going on for this class. There's way too much. No, you think this is bad, think about how hard was it with you guys with Diane for the class that night? Was it like intense, Shelly?
I don't think so.
No, you think it was okay? Good. I'm so happy to hear that. I was a little bit worried. Okay, so we're going to clean this guy because I think it'd be best for our health if that one was cleaned up so it doesn't fall. Same with this guy, and same with this one and this one. We're going to cut the designer paper for both of these next 2 cards, and then we're going to assemble them. And I figured I'd be done at 4, but I really have to be done by 4:30. Like, so we're gonna cruise, you guys, but not too fast that you don't know what's going on. I feel like we need to grab the designer paper for this, the next 2 sheets that are in the pack. There's 2 and 2. All right, so this is what I'm pulling out here, and we're going to cut. Let's see, let's do the one on the left first. I think that will use less brain power. And this is another one where we use the green as the back side for the mat. And we've got the front as the flowery part. Okay, so we'll have our stuff for our envelopes as well. And our DSP for the green here. So this is where the Velcro comes in. You guys, you had 2 Velcro dots in your kit, right? So this green is cardstock. And then this DSP mat is 5 1/16 by 3 13/16. So I'm gonna wait to cut that though until I cut these 2 taller ones first. Okay, so let's grab the cutter back. So we have the DSP on the green side is 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm gonna, with my flowers going the wrong way here, I'm gonna do 5 1/4, right? And then by 1 7/8, and we're doing 2 cards, and you need 2 pieces, right? So 1 7/8, and 1 7/8 is 3 3/4. So we're gonna do that, and then 1 7/8. So these are the 2 pieces that go here and there. but we're doing 2 cards, right? So we need 2 sets of them. So that was 3 1/4 is for 2 of them, and 1 7/8. So this is for the second card. And then what we can do is flip this over and use this piece right there, or we can use it for those 2. But we had said that this was, we need 2 of them, so we might as well wait. What are we gonna do? This one is 5 1/16. Oh yeah, so let's do 5 1/16 here. And we'll do 3 13/16. Right? So that's for one of them. And what we can do is cut this at 5 1/16. We're going to do 3 13/16 for the other card. And then our other 2 mats are 1 11/16. And we want to keep them consecutive. So we'll do 1 11/16. 1 11/16. Left one is the top one. 1 11/16. And 1 11/16. All right. And then that's it. Okay. Envelope flap though. So this is all you had left for the one piece. So we need to dip into this for our envelope flaps at 2 1/4. Then cut that in half. Your 2-tone cardstock just arrived. Yay! Oh, that sounds good, Mimi. I do know how much it is. It's in the spreadsheet, but I might not get back to you till Monday, so I'm not worried. I don't know where you live, but I know where you live. How's that go? So I'm good. I can wait. All right. So this is for the 1 card. I'm just going to set that over there, right? Now for this card right here, what we need, there's not as much DSP on this one. It's basically 1 piece, 2 piece, 1 piece actually, because we use cardstock for our mats. The DSP is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. That sounds right. That's 3 1/2. Okay, 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And we need 2 pieces. And is there a direction to this? Not really. So we're going to do 3 1/2 this way. And then 4 3/4. And we need 2 pieces. Right? And then we need for our envelope flap 2 1/4 by 6. So this one you use the least amount of paper. My mind was sort of blown with all the cutting of the paper. I took a puppy break when the neighbor's birthday girl brought her friends over to play. No problem, Chris. It is. Hi, Anna Carter. It is a lot of this. I mentioned that when we first started. This class is on steroids. It really is. We did not hold back for you guys on designing some awesome and amazing cards and teaching you some folds, or maybe reminding you of some amazing folds that you can do. So it's one of these card classes you guys are going to have to take it 1 card at a time, right? Just focus on 1 card, get it done. Work on the next card, get it done. All right, so we're going to come back to this guy, right? I want to hold off on him. I want to save him for last. My brain needs to think about him a little bit more. I got it. I know what to do. I just need to prepare myself mentally. So the next one is with this. So we're just going to, for now, split it apart, right? So you have your bases, mat, mat, inside, inside. Ooh. This guy goes here. This guy goes here. DSP. And then I'm going to set this one off to the side. Right, so we're going to come back and do this guy last. He's the next card technically in the pile, but I want to mentally prepare myself for him, which is no problem. This one, then we got a base, a base, a base, a base, an inside and inside. This, all these guys, that guy, envelope flaps, and then that. So I'm going to set this off to the side for a later in life project, and then I'm going to put this here. Okay, I think we have everything cut. So for this one, fold it in half, and then this goes back like that. Okay, good, good. Then these are your mats. This guy goes here. Right, so let's get a little glue happy. I feel like that's okay. We've got lots of things that we can glue. So this can get flipped over, this can get flipped over. Like that. So what's really awesome is the front and the backs of these papers. They really did a great job coordinating them. Your two-tone cardstock just arrived, yay! So that means a lot of you guys are getting your packages. With the mailing on Wednesday, you're getting them today, you might get them tomorrow. And we'll have the tutorial out for this class in your inboxes by tomorrow. I can't tell you if it'll be in the morning or if it'll be after. I got 2 classes in the morning, so it'll be soon. And then we're gonna glue the back of this, right? And then that gets glue. And that gets glue. So this one was the left one. This one was the inside one, so that they were in a continuous pattern. This guy goes here. Okay, and then this is where your Velcros will come in eventually. All right, so I put this as a celebrate, go on and celebrate. I made it happy birthday. We have a greenie in the inside. Okay, so that's Mossy Meadow ink for that, and blackberry. So Mossy Meadow is for the flower that we put in the inside, and I just cleaned that. So put him like that. Okay. And then happy birthday. I think I'm gonna do that in blackberry. All the way to the bottom. And then celebrate. Celebrate is from Beautiful Motifs. We just used that last night. So here's the celebrate. And then happy birthday is part of the floral charm. Goes right there. Yes, very good. Okay. What we can do, we need a little bit more ink. I have a dauber hanging out here. This is from the Glass and Garden folder. Now this is the glass one. We just did the garden one. Figure out what side you like up better. And grab a dauber. And it looks really cool sponging the edges with the dauber. Just using a little Blackberry Bliss ink. Go around those edges. And then I also did the same thing with this guy, but before you do it, you want to make sure you banner your end or angle it. And then I'm going to use the little baby trimmer over here to trim that nice straight down. And then use the dauber again. Go around the edge. Okay, so I think that's it for the ink for this card. So this flower, I don't know if you guys see it. It reminds me of Beauty and the Beast, right? So it's the flower that the Beast gave to Belle. All right, so we can glue this and glue this. And as long as we got this here, this flower, we don't want the greeny thing on here. So we're just gonna take our scissors and shore that up, cut off the green part, because then we're gonna glue it right onto here and you wanna see that green there. So knowing that, what we can do is put a little bit of glue here. Stage that there. Glue, glue. So this guy your box arrived today, but you're watching first before attempting to make anything. Replace the, you can start and stop the video. That's perfect. Yeah, this one's gonna be a very good class to watch me do it, make the cards, and then be able to go to the replay and follow the pause and start and stop and start and stop, and you'll have the tutorial, guys. Jolene's got this tutorial, like it's gonna knock your socks off. It's pretty amazing. So, and that will be out soon. Why not just dip the edges in the ink pad? I don't like to do that, to be honest with you. I like the look of the sponging versus the edge of the ink pad. When you do the edge of the ink pad, it is choppier. It like it, I know I'm using copy paper, but it's thicker. I don't like it thick. I guess I personally don't like using the edge of the ink pad on paper. I feel like it hits the foam and it's not as nice to the ink pad, where if I just dip a dauber into an ink pad, it's softer to the foam. It's just personal preference, I think. I like the soft and delicate look, the touch, the feel of cotton, the fabric of our lives. I like that soft look around the edge versus the heavy of an ink pad sometimes. So I'm going to oh, look at me Stella-ing. I just thought it needed it. All right, this guy. I don't have ribbon, you guys. I slacked on this card. I accidentally forgot, and I never went back and added ribbon. But with all my thought process, I was going to add a little bit of ribbon behind the Celebrate. I have this DSP, but haven't gotten the bundle. Love the DSP, but still undecided about the stamp set. Well, better decide. Get off the fence, it leaves splinters. All right, so we're going to grab, well, here, what I can do to help you out is I can set this here, and you can look at it. Well, you can look at the flowers. We've already used 2 of the flowers. I just used the happy birthday. We're gonna use the you made my day soon. I'm just gonna go a little guy like that, I think is what I'm thinking. Ribbon scissors though. I think I'm gonna go with it going that way. Like that's perfect. Okay, now what we can do, I glued this flat, so this is gonna get flat, so we're gonna go a little line of glue here and a little glue there. So I centered that pretty much like that. Okay, then grab one of the little Velcro-y dots. One side is more clear and the other side is more white. I like the white to be behind on the top and the clear to be on the bottom. So that's going to help hold the card a little bit more shut. I'll save that Velcro dot for the other card. Our flower is going to get popped up. Pop it up, and so is that little leaf right there. Okay, and you know what? We're gonna go down to the bottom here and pop this one up too. All right, then a little bit of glue at the bottom of his foot here. And our flower is the perfect height for this Countryside Corners dies. Now, I'm under the impression that the Countryside Corners dies just became unavailable and are no longer in the online store. So it's very possible that you can't buy them at this current moment, and I think that they're gone. Now, I could be wrong, and somebody might help me understand that, but I just saw a post on Facebook that somebody said that, and I didn't go look yet. So I'm popping up the bannered end, and I'm going to glue that side flat. All right. And he's gonna hang out right about like, I'm gonna have my leaf kind of right over the top like that. So there it is. Okay. Velcro dot opens up. Boom. You can't see the Velcro dot because I used the clear one there. And voila. Now, gems on this. Lots. Oodles McOodles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gems. And then there's a 7th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a 7th one fell off, I bet. So All right, I hope you made a decision, Jean, and hopefully that helped. Okay. I like using two-tone cardstock for layers. Yes, because it doesn't add so much bulk. Definitely agree. All right, that one was done. That wasn't so bad. I hope you guys thought that one wasn't so crazy. All right, who knows though? At this point, you can think anything. All right, this guy's gonna go over there. We're gonna set you over here. And we've got this guy. Now this guy seems like he might be the hardest, but I don't think he's the hardest out of everything we've done so far. I think that the first two cards are definitely the most intense. I forgot my dies upstairs. In case you are just joining me, I'm going to quickly fussy cut this flower. And we are going to show you how to make this pointy card. All right. Who's getting hungry? You guys thinking about a Friday night fish fry or an old fashioned? Because I think that that's what's in the radar. It's Tyler's special day today, and so he's gonna get to pick out where he wants to go for dinner. And so that's why I said I've got to be done by 4:30, because this girl has got to get ready and get bedazzled up, I guess. And then we're going out for dinner tonight. So, right, you got to eat sometime. So, all right, flowers cut. Let's look at this and study what we got going on here. All right, we have a card base, and it's a traditional card base to start with. It's just 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. But what happens is we need to cut our dangle corners off, and we attach them over there. This is for that. We have a little strip, a little circle. Ooh, we use a sponge dauber and make that blue. Well, I'm going to entertain Nancy Mole right now, because I did not pull another sponge dauber over. So Nancy's wondering why I couldn't just use an ink pad and do this. And so I'll do this to entertain Nancy. It's not my favorite thing. I mentioned you guys I'd love to use a sponge dauber, but because I don't want to go walk over to the drawer and grab a sponge dauber, I'm going to do what Nancy suggested, and I'll show you what happens. You can definitely do the edge of the ink pad, but what it does is it doesn't give you, I'll show you here on the white, it's not soft and delicate. It's a little bit more harsh, like solid, right? It's not the end of the world. It's just, and maybe you like that look, right? It's always whatever you like. It's not what I like, it's what you like. So it's your cards, you're gonna make them however you want. I guess I used a sponge dauber, and it's just a little softer. So it's all good. Like it saved me from standing up, so we're all good. So that's done, and then we're gonna use, we're switching gears. We're stamping, guys. I'm going all haywire on you now. So You Made My Day is going to be hard to stamp because it's a red rubber stamp. So you've got a long enough piece here that hopefully you can figure it out with, oh, it's really crooked. Okay, so now we're going to flip it over. And the DE needs to go down, and the U comes up. Oh, okay, that's not bad, but still a little crooked. So now we're gonna go to this side. See if we can get it on this side, like that. Okay, well, I could live with some of them, one of them. And then I have, oh, thanks for being you in a butterfly. Oh, thanks for being you is right here. So we will grab that out and stamp that on the white right away. Now that butterfly comes from the cone flowers. So let's look at that really quick. I have the cone flowers right here. And we stamped that butterfly in Berry Burst. So I need to grab the Berry Burst because I didn't grab that yet. Oh, Jean Maxwell confirmed the Countryside Corner dies are gone. And just push it straight in the pad. I don't know. I don't know. You might not win me over on that one yet. So, all right. I'm going to stamp my butterfly first so that I have it on the page. And then I'm going to hopefully stamp thanks for being you straight. Good. Okay, I can live with that. And I think that's it for stamping. Okay. Yeah, that's really crooked a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna try again. We have the stamps right here and the means to do it. So we're gonna do a butterfly again. And I think that it needs to come down on the right from what I thought. Okay, so like more like that. Ugh, it's about the same. At least I tried again. Hi, big boy. You're coming over to say hello to us again? Stretchy McGee's over here. All right, come on, you can do it. He's like, Mom, you got so much stuff all over the place. I want your water. Yep, I know you do, but you don't get it, buddy. It's almost gone. That means you were drinking water. That's good, Mom. Yep, I know. Come on. Good job, buddy. All right, I'm gonna go with this one, and I'm gonna cut this at an angle this way, all the way over here. So that's good to go. Throw that away. All right, what can we do here? So let's do our cutting and make it. I bought enough time, I procrastinated enough, right? Grab a pencil and you need to make a tick mark. Half of 5 1/2 is 2 3/4. So at the 2 3/4 mark here, you're gonna make a pencil mark. I'm gonna get my head in here so you can see everything. All right, 2 3/4 right here. Make that pencil mark, and what you're gonna be doing is cutting from the tick mark up to the score line. This is the easiest one out of them all. So let's see if this trimmer will work. Nope, it's too little. Hi, oh, you found a blankie. I'm gonna use this guy. I just like this one. So I'm gonna find my tick mark right here and go to the score line right there. Cut that off. Same thing here. Score line, tick mark. Score line, tick mark. There. All right, you have to erase that tick mark. All right, so that's the first step on this, right? So this, and then these guys are what gets adhered on like that to the back side of that. All right, so that's fun. That's good. So you should have 2 of these pieces now. Kitten. That's done for now. These 2 are the same concept. I should say, I see what we did. Okay, we have these 2 are both 5 1/4 by 4. We have to do a similar thing. We have to put a tick mark, and we have here the 5. So this is 5 1/4. So half of 5 1/4 is 2 1/8. If I'm not mistaken, just making sure here. It's just inside 2 berry 5 oh, it's supposed to be 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I wonder if that's what these are. No, they're not. So I think we need to do a little trimming. 5 1/8, because it says, wait 1 moment here. I'm trying to read Diane's notes here. So you guys, we designed these cards about a month ago, and I looked at this and I thought it made sense. That's for the inside. This is for the outside. 5 1/4, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I think we gave these to you in the wrong size. And the reason I think that is because that is 1/8 of an inch. Okay, you're gonna have to do a little haircuts, all right? Oh, I see now, I know why I saved this for last. Okay, so 5 1/8, so you're gonna have to cut both of these at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So 5 1/8, 3 7/8. 5 1/8, 3 7/8. All right, that's good. As long as I have my trimmer out, I'm gonna go dipping into my paper here, and I'm going to find the one that has this right here. this one, we need a mat of Berry Burst. It's gonna be very similar, but close enough. We're gonna do, we need a 5 1/4 by 4. I think that we forgot to put a berry cardstock mat in there, so we're just gonna take your DSP instead and use that. So, and maybe we didn't forget, and maybe I just put them in the pile over here. Let me just double check. No, there's only 2 there. Okay, so you're gonna cut one of these DSPs. This is going to be for your mat behind here, right? So that's gonna go in here like that. Okay, so you can use your DSP for that and it'll be great. All right, so back on track. Grab your ruler, and now that both of these are 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, halfway is 2 9/16. So you're gonna take your ruler and 2 9/16. So that's between the 1/2 and the 5/8 inch mark, right? And you're gonna do that on both of these. Let me get in here and just see that, 2 9/16. Okay? Now we're gonna grab the trimmer back. And from the tick mark to the edge here is what we're gonna be cutting. So there's 1, and then there's 2. Okay, so these are for the outside. And we have to do the same thing for the inside one. So this was just to cover up the blue triangles. There's this one, and then that guy. All right, so keep that like this, and we're still not quite done. There's one more yet. All right, so the magic number on the next one here, we have this DSP. The DSP is 4 3/4, and half of that is 2 3/8. Right, so this is your top, this is our bottom. So we have 2 3/8. Put a tick mark. Grab the trimmer back. Oh, well, at least that gets covered up. Okay, 2 and, that's why we clean stamps right away. Washi, washi, washi. So from here to there, like that. There's 1. There is that one. All right, I think we're officially done cutting stuff. And before we get another stamp that falls, I'm gonna clean this guy up. And this one. And this one. And this one. Okay. So we just cut a lot of triangles. If you guys didn't catch what just happened there. Again, the tutorial will have all the measurements for you. And I dropped my stamp on here. I don't know if you can even see it, but there's a little stamp on there. Let's glue our inside in. So both of these can go in. Thanks, Margine. I'm glad you like them. They are special. When you give these cards out to people, they're going to be your special people that will truly cherish and enjoy these cards. They are a labor of love and a half. All right, so thankfully we had some designer series paper that's the Berry Burst color that you could use here. All right, so let's just layer this stuff out. This guy, gotta remember how they go, right? So I think this will go, nope, our peaky is here. I can see my pencil mark. So that goes here, right? Let's erase that pencil mark. And then this one goes here. Erase the pencil mark. Okay, so we can glue these both down, right? Good. That goes on there. Now, as long as you got it situated on your trimmer just right, you should have all this stuff lining up nicely. I feel like it goes like this. Perfect. Okay, so that's good. Then what we can do, this one gets glued down. I've got it so that it's hitting the berry, just barely hitting both berries like this. That's kind of where that's situated. And I would put this guy flat as well. He just goes right in the middle. Like that. Okay, we'll come back to those two. Now let's look at these. We have these two. Now, map this out before you start gluing. I promise you're going to be happier. So this one is that side, and that's this side. Then this gets glued here. That gets glued here. This one will get glued onto there. And that one will get glued there. So we've got it mapped out right. So that's important because this one would work over there, but these paper, it's good to map things out, map all the things out before you glue. So we're flipping all these over. So we're gonna glue this, that, that, and that. So this one goes right there. Navy and berry. Who would have ever thought they were a match made in heaven? Right, so that's good. That goes right there. And that goes right there. Okay, so far that's good. Now these get glued here, and it's kind of like, I guess I guessed where they were, and I put one down and I put the other one down. For those that like scientific numbers, this is 1 1/8 and 1 1/8. So what I'm going to do is put some glue right here and right here, and I'm going to measure in 1 1/8 right there, and put my peaky right there. And then this peak goes flush with that side. So that will help me with this one. So we're gonna set that right down into it. And then I'm gonna put my ruler at 1 1/8 here. Right there. Put that peak right at 1 1/8. And get that one flush on the right. And just drop it into it. I guess that's how I would do that. So now they're at 1 1/8 and 1 1/8. Right, that looks like it needs to go just a hair this way. Tigger, you're pacing. What's up here? All right, so are you hungry? You're hungry. I can see it. Yeah, I know. It's time for supper. Oh, you're gonna stay right here, aren't you? Nope, you're gonna keep moving. What are you gonna do? Gotta make a decision. We're almost done with class, buddy. All right, so now look at this. The reason that we wanted to button this stuff up here because it kind of looked like weird, right? But it's getting kind of thick and bulky. So I'll be honest with you, like I think what we did is we kind of trimmed some of this stuff off. Oh yeah, you think so? Right there. That's where you want to be, right? Okay, let's grab our card out so that at least we can work. So, Mom, pet me. All right, so we're gonna just cut that guy off too. So then what happens is we have these two, and this one should fit right in there, like that. And this one fits right in there like that. And so that there's not more bulk here, I think what we'll do is we'll cut this off, and we'll cut this off. Mom, don't cut my tail, please. Buddy, I won't. But you sure do know how to take up a camera station here. All right, so then this guy goes right there. So this is the joined together embossing folder. That's part of the Kintsugi set. I think this goes like that. And then the last guy goes right like that, right? So that's gonna clean this up. A little blue here. Oh, kitten. Mom, I'm not a kitten anymore. Yeah, but you'll always be my baby. Oh, that's true. All right, so that guy goes right in there. So that's what covers that up and makes that really nice and polished on the inside. All right, so I think I officially lost. He kind of took over my die cut piece, didn't he? Oh, do I have to dig underneath you, Tigger, to find this die cut piece? Let's see. All right. Let's see where it is. Oh, here's part of it. There's my flower. Mom, that feels weird. What are you doing to me? It's not there. Tigger, buddy. Mom, that feels so weird. All right, I need this. That's what I needed. Okay. Sorry, buddy. All right, we're almost done. So we have here loops, loops, tails, and tails. So grab the tear and tape, and we're gonna do I got a loop, and a tail, and then more. So let's just grab a couple things here. All right, and that's behind the flower. Okay, so cheese, right? Okay, so put this here. Thanks, Estelle, I appreciate that. I'm glad you like them. All right. Told you guys, 1 o'clock when I went live, I said these cards are going to be cards on steroids. Like, they are intense card marathon workout. All right, I got a little bit of blue left here. Let's see what we can do. I have here a loop and a tail. That tail is coming out. Tiger. And then we need some more tear and tape. And I'm going to do another loop right here. And bring that like that. Okay. So let's put tear and tape there, because there's white that's going to need to come here yet too. And the white is right here. I've got 2 tails coming out, so I'm just going to fold that in half and catch it like that. Yeah, that's the right scissors. Thanks, Mimi. All right, so then this guy will go like this. I might trim the tails just a hair, but we need more tape. I've got a loop and 2 tails down here. Okay, so I got to the end of my blue ribbon roll here. So let's see, I should have enough. All right, we'll get rid of you and you and you. We need a white loopy. So we've got, oh, the other trick here, I took my scissors and I cut up the leaf here, which allowed this flower petal to, the leaf to come hang out. It allowed the leaf to come hang out over the top. So we need a loop. Let's see here, tape there, yes. So we have, let's look at that. I got a white loop right here. Okay, and then that can get cut. We're gonna pick this off of there so that this guy has something to hang on to. I need the tape back here again. It's nice to have a Stamp-a-Stack with a little challenge. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Because normally our Stamp-a-Stacks, we try not to it's just, yeah, sometimes they're not, like, they're fun, pretty cards, but not always challenging like this. This is definitely a Stamp-a-Stack and a half challenge. All right, a little bit of blue ribbon left here. Go like that, I guess. Trim that. You guys just do whatever you want. If you hate ribbon, you're not going to put a lot of ribbon on this. But you might love the ribbon like I do. So, all right. This guy is, I got a little fruit fly that is just, I feel like Linus or something. Just flying around me. All right. I need dimensionals. So, they are right there. we're gonna put a dimensional there and here. And then the flower needs dimensionals as well. Put one there. There's a lot going on over here, so I don't know. Put one more right there. Okay, so this guy's gonna go down once I pick the backs off. This one, so this goes like this, I think. Got it hanging out right over here like that. So something like Mary right there. There's something about Mary. Okay, that can go here, that goes there. Huh, all right. I think we got it on. Now, the gemsies are the only thing that's left. So, I've got on here the blue, ouch, the blue gems are perfect on this one. Blue and berry burst, berry burst, berry burst. Down here I've got some, right? So I stamped my butterfly first on this card so that I didn't have part of the wings off. And that's what we got. Wow. All right. You have 3 minutes. Don't make Tyler wait. I know, right? So, oh my goodness. Oh, we did it. We did it. We did it. Oh my goodness. Guys, what do we have? 4:28. I'm going to do door prize really quick for this class. So, I'm going to let this be, right? We did good. I'll bring them all in really quick. You guys can tell me which one's your favorite, right? Lots of them to choose from. Move this guy over here, that guy over here, that goes back here. All right. Like, never had done this fold. Never did. I mean, this is common, but I've never done one where it was like foldy, flippy uppy, right? So that's cool. This is really cool, having that tuck like that. I've done a card like this, and you guys saw that, but I had never done a card quite like this. I've done pocket cards, but this one's really cool, having this, how we did that. I love it. So tell me what your favorite is. I'm going to take 30 seconds, grab my book, and we're going to do a random number generator to pick 2 winners, I think is the plan. And we finished a roll of ribbon. I love it. I gotta find my pokey tool, or I should say my stylus for my scoreboard. You guys got an extra scrap of berry burst. Use it on something pretty. I shorted you up 2 pieces of vanilla that were like a 1/4 sheet matte, just a little bit smaller. If you need them, you guys don't hesitate to reach out to me. I do not mind. Put them in the mail, or I send them in your August package. I feel bad when I miss things, or we miss things, but it happens. You guys, it really does. When you have 20,000 pieces of paper that are flying through the air, not really through the air, but when they're from where they're moving around, it's bound to happen. So, and then on top of that, we added that, and I don't know why. So it happens. So let's grab my book here, and I had. Oh, all are your favorite. Great. Have a great time tonight. Thank you. Happy special day. Aw, thanks. All hard to choose. The pocket card. Jean likes the pocket card. Very good. All right, so I'm going to do, we have here 40, no, we had 69, including Barbara Godby. I didn't catch if anybody else had said that they wanted this, but I'll definitely figure that out. Random number generator. And I said 69. So 69, oh, not 169. Oh, that'd be a lot. Oh, I couldn't even imagine kidding up 169 on this one. Oh, I think that would make me want to cry. 63 and 4 scoops. 63 and 4. 63 is Gwen Petrashek. Yay, Gwen. And 4 is Julie Damaris. Yay, Julie. Awesome. You guys are awesome. Good job. Congratulations to both of our winners. Everybody's a winner, though, right? Those are just 2 people that happen to get the door prizes. So, oh, come up for air, right? Shelly's still there working away. How many do you think you have left?
Still got like 20 pink.
20 pink to do? And then,
Plus all the orange.
oh, plus the orange. Okay, so you got, okay.
For next week.
So, we have 108 that we're planning for the Paper Palooza, and we're planning for 132 for the Escape, okay? So, that means if there's 108, you have 20 left to do. That means you got 80 some of them done. So that's not so bad. 80's good. Okay, yeah, you guys, everything we do is always a labor of love, time and investment and energy. So we're lucky we have our amazing helpers that help us get all these things done. So awesome. Pocket card in the middle, the bottom is their favorite. Perfect. Okay, congratulations to our 2 lucky deck winners, you guys. I'm 2 minutes over my thought process for getting in the shower and getting ready, putting some makeup on and doing the hair. That's what I have to do next, all right? gonna get all duded up. All right, you guys, I have 2 classes tomorrow at 10 in person. And then we're gonna be working on prepping stuff for what we're working on around in the hive and getting ready for the party. Party's on Sunday, and then I'll be back live with you guys at 3 o'clock. Okay, I will be sending an announcement to everybody registered. It's gonna be moved to 3 o'clock on Monday. Diane and I need to finish designing and we get to finish designing the ink, paper, scissors, or start it and finish it. And we can't get that done in 3 hours. I know that we can't do that. So we're gonna try to finish it in 5 hours and move class from 1 to 3. And that should allow me to get that done with her. And I'll be able to show you those 4 cards that we create on Monday afternoon then. And then we're gonna go right into Mystery Card Night at 6 p.m. And I do have Clue 1 from Jolene. It's here. I'm not certain if I'm gonna be able to get it published tonight before I leave for dinner with Tyler, or if I will do it tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna have it done though at some point by tomorrow so that you guys have Sunday and Monday to work on getting your pieces ready. So go team. All right, lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs to you guys. We'll see you. Have a great weekend. I'll see you sometime on Sunday. All right, love you. Bye.